Bam. Okay. Oops again. Nope. Freaking whack. Hey, there we go. Okay, let us see. I need to change my shirt. Hate advisory. Okay, boom. What up, Catra? What up, Sharoyas? Hey, senor. What up, Kiwi? Senor. I'm the first one here already. Oh, here it is. Dun, 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 dun. I'm feeling ridden with existential panic dread. I'm trying to get rid of it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever listened to me, and maybe you have, and maybe you've tried to get your B12 levels checked, or any or B vitamin level. I'm just saying, you probably never have. Hopefully, maybe you have. What up, Cyanide? Cyanide. Everyone hit the like button. What up, Jason? Try Stoicism. Yeah, Stoicism's probably one of the easiest ways to get through young life as you learn, because it's the easiest thing that you can do quickly, easiest change to your life, to not let people know what the where to push your buttons. People that have become overly vulnerable while they're still growing up, they show people which buttons to press to rattle you, and not everybody's nice. There's a bird called the American woodcock. There is a woodcock. There's a bunch of woodcocks. American woodcock. Philosophy's good stuff. Yeah. I know you said B12, and I was thinking the next time I go to my psychiatrist, I'm going to ask him my blood test. I have a history of low vitamin D, so I'm sure I can convince him. It shouldn't be any convincing. They should. There should be zero convincing. You're a human body that requires proper levels of vitamins and minerals for your body to work properly. This should be the first thing any doctor does. But if they're a psychiatrist, they're like, well, I'm not a dietitian. And then if they're a freaking regular general practitioner doctor, they're like, well, I'm not a nutritionist. And then if you go to a nutritionist, they're like, well, insurance won't pay for that, so pay for it out of pocket. So as you stay away from a nutritionist, stay away, then you just spend your whole life until they finally say, oh, look, you got that. Yeah, you should definitely Catra. The blue-footed booby. It's more of my speed. I need to poop. Yep, that'll help. We also have a flower here called blue. Oh, you guys can't see the screen. There you go. There you go. The woodcock. Let's see if it's there. Okay. Probably. Okay, there you go. Burp. There you go. Okay, blue-footed booby. Blue-footed booby. It's definitely got freaking blue feet. Straight up blue feet. Blue. All right, let's say. It automatically changed it to blue duck. One time, my brother pressed a button and it spread poop all over him. That's no bueno. African swallow, the laden swallow, African swallow. There you go. In the Hirundidae family. There you go. There you go. Waiting for grave. Waiting for the grave, you mean? Sports. Throat action being the definition. Okay, let's see. European swallow and the African swallow. Looks freaking tough. Blue swallow, red rumped swallow. There's the blue swallow. And here's the red rump. Red rumped swallow. Swallowing that red rump. What's the average speed? What's the average speed velocity of a laden swallow? There's a new bird species called stellar jay, which my dad found. Yes, they carry balls, big old balls. Yeah. Don't we all? Stellar jay. There you go. Stellar jays. What up, John? What's up, Bob, brother? John, brother, Bob, brother. Freaking awesome. Good day. Have fun. You too, yuppie, brother. How you been? How you been, brother? Okay, let's see. A privet? It ain't in English. A privet here in America is a in America is a bush, a plant. Yeah, here, oh, you can't see it. Sorry. Yeah, this is a privet. I actually have some. Moved to Australia. Come visit. I'd love to come visit Australia. Definitely just visit though. I have time to prepare for death. Yeah, you gotta poop first. Dude, I don't freaking speak Russian. Well, let's say boom, boom, boom. Let's see what it says. Choose language to translate to. Yeah, but what is it, you wackadoo? Oops, I broke that. Oh, Bulgarian? No, not Bulgarian. Afrikaans. Let's see. Hold on. You can't even see it anyway. It's not English. From English to Bulgarian. Oh, that's the wrong thing anyway. Let's see. Why did transfer to Afrikaans? Russian to English. Where's English at? A, B, C, D, E. Estonian. If you know what this means, you know what they say upon death. Very often, and people that don't. There are people that don't, and it's usually people that die from drug overdoses that can cause retention. What up, Jake, brother? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jane. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jake. I'd like to clear of poo before. Yeah, me too. You gotta clear out that poo. Rooskies. The idea of what happens after death is pretty gross. I don't want a casket and give my body back to the earth. Nutrients. Yeah, there's a lot. There's actually a lot. A lot of people only understand two ways to do something after you die. Either you get buried or cremated. There's a lot of other different ways to leave your earthly hollows. I swear I don't spend a lot of time thinking about this, but why do human males have such enormous range of venusitis? Like all other animals have very similar venusitis. It's weird. So there are theories involved in this, and whether it has to do with nutritional intake during birth, like, do you know, like height like regular height, they if you don't grow as tall as your father, then it can be from a vitamin K2 deficiency. So vitamin K2 moves calcium out of soft tissues and into the bones, and out of the veins and soft tissues into the bones and teeth. So if you got a tall father and you're short, it could be because you had a vitamin K2 deficiency as a kid growing up. So you have these things called growth plates, which are like soft tissues that the bone continues to grow out of. If they get calcified because of low K2, because the calcium's not pulled out of that, so that then you stop growing at certain heights. So it could be something like that. Be nice to Ukrainians. They might pay you. Hey, there you go. Bart Simpson, Mackenzie Bush from Australia. There, Mo Kenzie down under. I just pooped and now I have to poop again, brother. Wait a minute. My brother just tapped my dog. Thank you, Jake, brother. Essential dread. My stomach was upset. I didn't even know it. We're in Brooklyn. Welcome back, brother Aaron. Back in Brooklyn? Do you commute from freaking Europe to America a lot, Aaron? I'm scared to death. I have to do something. I want to benefit from it. Love you too, Jake, brother. Happy birthday, my friend. What do you eat to get K2? So typically the only things are fermented foods. There's a little bit in eggs and whatnot, but we have so many children that grow up on like formula and like dino nuggies and chicken nuggets and stuff that doesn't have crap. They say, yeah, it's got protein and fats and cholesterol. Yeah, but it doesn't have any vitamins and minerals, or not what you actually need. Just because you look on the side of the box and it says 8% of your vitamin A, are you getting 100%? No one does. And that absolutely has to be changed, the way that we do that. But here, look. Here we go. Okay, natto is the number one food in it, and that's fermented soybeans. Sauerkraut, another fermented food. Okay, then hard cheeses like Gouda, Brie, cheddar, Swiss. But it's like you have to eat a good amount of it, right? Liver, people don't typically eat liver. Grass-fed butter and dairy, still a lower amount, but a lot of people stay away. Oh, butter fats will kill you, blah, 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 blah. That's what consensus used to be for decades. So people would eat margarine. And then dark chicken meat, pork chops, ground beef, varying levels, but not a lot. Did you know the Earth's atmosphere is composed approximately 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen? Right? Yes, I did know that, brother. Yep. That's why we can get so much liquid nitrogen straight from the air. You can make liquid air also, not just liquid nitrogen, but often they're used interchangeably. Anyway, back to the water painting I was doing lately. My sister's in Idaho. Sheetaho. Sorry, I had a photo album. I'm going to paint something. There you go. What up, HJ? I have a tall father. I'm taller, but calcium still deposits in my gums quite often. I got vitamin K2 from sabbatic and grew a half an inch at 41. Brother, it's amazing. Listen, people do not realize how many people, just not just the United States, the world, we don't get what we're supposed to get. We don't get what we need. And a lot of the stuff that the government tells us to get, the percentages they get, aren't necessarily what we get, the amounts that we need to thrive. If they, like the percents you get, like for like B12 is the amount you need to not be in deficiency, but not necessarily thrive. So if you have the amount that they tell you to take every day for B12, you won't go into deficiency and have issues from like deficiency of B12, but there are levels higher than that. Talk to your doctor to get a blood test and to see if a little bit higher levels or different levels at different ages could have better results. And we've known all this stuff since the 30s and 40s. All right, I did that in South America. I had to keep that master planning stuff for her. Rich, my mom passed away last week. Came in for the funeral. Sorry to hear that, Aaron, brother. R.I.P. What up, Sir Reginald Blomquist the Turd? Oh, they're back? I wonder if they got a bunch of stuff. Brother has a French bunch of issues. Brother has a French bulldog, and its wang is huge compared to even bigger dogs. Poor thing can't even really use it. Artificially inseminated. Wow. I did not know that. Now I do. Jeez. Thing with her job, she's dealing with butterfly, bees, moths, dragonflies, and other insects. There's some fun anatomy. Guys, my little brother exploded a toilet. What up, Biff? Sorry to hear that. Yep, sorry to hear that too, brother. Some vitamins only have certain bioavailability in set 24 hours. That's correct. That's correct. And some versions of the same vitamin, like there's multiple versions of B12. There's multiple versions of K2, and like K2 MK4, which is so K2 has multiple, like you said, multiple types. There's an MK4 variant of vitamin K2 that only lasts about 4 hours in the bloodstream, and then MK7 has a half-life of about 8 hours. So that's about daily dosing. But we don't, unless you're eating, like, unless you live in areas where you're eating lots of everything. And if you're not eating the whole animal, then if you're not eating liver, then you're not getting the stuff that's really kick-ass for your liver, unless you're supplementing with the certain kinds. And this stuff should all be regular knowledge, common knowledge. Exploded. Quick question. What's the best moment of my life? Best moment of my life? Best moment of my life. Ah, man, I've had some kick-ass moments in my life. I guess as of this far, and you know, it kind of changes because what I thought, well, like I was in a band that did really well, did really awesome shows. I was in the movie industry, did a lot of really awesome shows. I'm not a parent yet. I'm not a father yet. So I'm guessing that will be, but I've done lots of things, but I always keep going. I always keep pressing myself forward. I can't really say, brother. I've done a lot, and I'm still doing more. I'm really proud of how I've built this channel up so quickly. Smuggler, brother. Yeah, rest in peace, brother, sister. How are you, Biff? Guavas are actually better than oranges and tomatoes. Oranges and tomatoes are, I mean, tomatoes ain't kick ass for you hardly at all. And oranges typically aren't grown to vine ripened status. So, and a lot of fruits and vegetables aren't vine ripened, which means their vitamin and mineral profiles don't develop properly. So they're picked before they're ripe, and then they're artificially ripened in warehouses and storage. We're discovering B12, right? So that was huge. That was definitely huge for my life. Good point, Katra. So I had ADHD really bad, and I was on all kinds of ADHD medications throughout life. And when I was 45, I finally said, I don't think my multiple doctors throughout my life know what they were talking about. So I found out that I had a B12 deficiency, which a B12 deficiency can act like it has the same symptoms often as ADHD. And ADHD can get worse if you don't have enough B12. And there's also this stuff in your intestines called intrinsic factor. And if you don't have it or very little of it, then you can't, even if you swallow a B12 pill, or if you eat food with B12 in it, you'll just poop it out. If you don't have intrinsic factor, it won't absorb. So learning that, and then knowing that was able to change my life, so that instead of being exhausted all the time and depressed all the time and brain fog all the time, all that cleared up. And now in my late 40s, I'm 49, and now my life's going in a much brighter trajectory. Thanks, friend. She's 94, saw a lot of life. I'm here to help, brother Aaron. I know how guava's going to taste, to be honest. 94, yeah. My grandfather lived to 92. My grandmother lived to 90. Guavas also make me full, I think, a full meal because it's super healthy. It has lots of protein. I like vitamin frozen pizza. Yeah, I took it serious. There's vitamins, lookalikes, all different molecular structures, easier to synthesize. Right. So, like B12, there's one called cyanocobalamin, which is a man-made cobalamin, B12. And it doesn't act in the body the same way. Your liver has to strip the cyanide off of it and then methylate the cobalamin to methylcobalamin. So I take a vitamin B12 called methylcobalamin that dissolves under the tongue. So even if you don't have that intrinsic factor in your intestines to absorb B12, this absorbs through the mouth. And that was the best way I could found. I love liver, and it's cheap. Right. And if you start thinking about, wow, what are supplements? And not all supplements, lots of supplements are absolutely shit. But vitamins and minerals in supplement form, what are you doing? You're supplementing your diet. Okay, I don't want to eat brains. I don't want to eat kidneys and liver and intestines. So how do I get the things that's good for my brains, livers, the kidneys, and intestines? Well, you got to find out what you're not getting and then supplement with that. And that's what I've done. and I'm much, much, much happier. Do you structure your diet around a day or a week or what? So I structure it around a day. I eat once a day and a snack. So like at about 2:30, 3 o'clock today, I ate a bunch of brisket, boy. And then I'll have a snack before bed, which is usually like a pint of raw milk, which actually that raw milk seems to have fixed my intestinal issues, my lactose intolerance. So store bought milk is pasteurized to kill the bacteria in it, but you need bacteria, certain bacteria, certain compounds to digest milk. And if you don't have that in your stomach, well, it's in milk. So raw milk can seem to re restore the some of the gut bacteria that if you took some antibiotics as a kid or whatever, you may have killed off and may not have a chance to regrown. We had chicken liver on Saturday Sabbath, very tasty. We know wide range of sizes, dogs, humans could be all due to crossbreeding done across history. Yeah, it's a possibility. Absolutely part of what up, cat? For busy modern life, when it's easier to learn to structure your diet, mainly we're going to pre-made meals for the week. Oh. So yes, I do it for the week. What I like, I'll make a lot of food for the week. Right? Yeah. Sorry. I thought you meant how do I eat? Right? How do I plan meals? Yeah, weekly. Bro, I swear there's a hell of my ex is in charge. That would it's certainly the main event of my existence. Dr. Wiener beat autism. Amala Okanabe just posted a video about a woman called Cheesecake Factory fat phobic because their skinny-licious menu nuts. If a girl likes you, she can rock her face. If a girl likes you, you can rock her in the face, and she'd still love you. What does that say about women? I listen. It's not just women. It's also it's everybody. The thing is, it seems more odd when you hear that women deal with that, like because men are typically stronger than women, so you would think that they would be like, this guy's gonna hurt me, so I'll get away. But it happens in relationships. Listen, if it wasn't so pushy to try to make men sound like the bad guy all the time, and if guys called the cops on women every time a woman hit a man, listen, the numbers, the stats would be completely different. Rich's best moments when Earl Weaver coached the Orioles. Those good old days, brother. Jesus loves you all. Jesus loves you, Burke, brother. I just eat shitloads of eggs. So do I. I got 8 hens. I get 6 to 8 eggs every day, and it's hard to keep up with that. How many that they poop out? I give a lot of to my neighbors, but I eat a lot. Skinny-lish is an incredibly stupid name. It's just the idiotic woman calling it fat phobic. Yeah, they're both stupid. I think they did it on purpose. What up, Papa Bear? I only eat once a day, Monday through Friday. Gorge Saturday and Sunday. I take vitamins and prefer the chewable so I don't poop them out. Right? Yeah, them absorbing. Listen, it's very, very interesting. Like, so I take a sublingual B12, and that absorbs under the tongue. And then my vitamin D3 now I take sublinguals under the tongue, and this absorbs through the skin. You just put about 10 drops or so on your skin like you would cologne. And so that way, if you have any intestinal issues, and how are you going to know if you have intestinal issues? You might be like, oh, I take one a day. I take vitamin pills. Great. But how do you know it's getting into your bloodstream? How do you know if it's getting out of your bloodstream and into the rest? You don't have any idea. And without doctors ever testing or labs ever testing, you have no idea. You could go your whole life with a vitamin deficiency and just be ill all the time and be like, well, I've got X, Y, or Z. Okay, well, my mom had X, Y, or Z, so it's genetic. Did you have your genetics tested? No. Maybe you eat just like your mom, or you or you go to the same doctor as your mom and you have the same things, like the same antibiotics as your mom, and that's why you have the same deficiencies. You eat the same way. So Trump is asking court to allow for an executive order regarding mail-in voting. I thought he already did that. Fat phobic. I've never been scared to be a tubby bastard. As a child, I had lots of muscle spasms, got injected with B12, muscular relaxer, diphenol to calm them down, probably deficiency. Right. So that, and like so you need serotonin and dopamine for muscle contraction and relaxation. And B12 helps create those neurotransmitters. And also, like cramping, that can be a magnesium or potassium deficiency. Magnesium deficiency cramps. Oops. Okay, sorry, potassium. Okay, muscle cramps linked to deficiencies like magnesium, potassium, or vitamin B12. If you meant, yeah, I put the wrong thing in. Okay, bowel movements, right? But still, it gets the point across. Protein helps regulate ADHD too, because you have to know. This is another problem. There isn't protein. There's proteins, tens of thousands of different proteins. So, and this is a huge problem. How we talk about this stuff, because it says protein on the side of the cereal box or whatever. But what kind? What protein? Which proteins? And they don't break it down. Well, it's in the ingredients. Yeah, but who knows anything about any of it? And most people just think, oh, protein's a thing. It's in all this. It's in this. What up? Who's a fail, brother? Protein is gay. You're gay. Mom had the same crazy heart valve tear that Lindsey Graham had. One day's all that. Oh, wow. Damn, dude. Protein is gay, said the name dude, Dr. Wiener. If your body is mineral deficient, it cannot absorb the vitamin supplements you take. Right. And where did we used to get all of our a lot of our minerals from? Water. When you drank well water or lake water, the minerals that are in the ground that the water dissolved or put into the solution, you would get that. But now that a lot of us drink bottled water with no minerals in it, or if you're lucky, you can get some more expensive bottled water that's got minerals free added to it, or filtered water, or water out of the tap doesn't have the minerals that well water has. So how are you getting them? Fried chicken liver with onions is delicious. A lot of people like that. I can't do it, dude. Don't tell another man to should. Weirdo. Everyone rejoiced because Kamala has announced she's running 2020. I saw that just before I went live. I have to leave the house if someone is cooking liver. Yeah, I can't handle it, dude. I can't. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people don't. I wonder. I don't know. Nobody's falling for your pro-gay libtard narrative, Dr. Wiener. No, it should be the masculinist. Scarface. Dr. Wiener's all right. I think he's pushing your buttons. I'm leaving the stream, so don't worry. Thank you, Kiwi brother. Thank you. What up, recovering cynic? I thought you said beat liver pate can taste delicious, property cooked, awesome season. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure. I have such and also to get all of these things, they're cheap, but we don't even have any idea as average citizens where we're at. Like, what are we deficient in anything? And the thing is, if you're deficient in something and then you take the recommended daily amount of that, it doesn't take you out of deficiency. You're still in insufficiency because you need a stored amount of your body, so in your body, so that you can handle those swings when some days you don't get enough of a certain vitamin and some days you get a little bit more. So, how would you know? And I think I would think that a lot of our issues are from standard deficiencies that are never tested for. That's rude. You guys are gross. Kamala is leading opinion polls across the board against JD Vance in July. YouTube Live is the greatest comedy gold I've found. That's right, Kellogg's. I find it pretty funny too. There's some wackadoos going on out there. Protein is gay, whatever you like. Would you make you gay? It doesn't matter how big you are after the baby comes out of it. Dun, 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 dun. Quiet. We are the generation of additives. I think additives, yes, they do. And we know they do. We absolutely know they do. Like, you can look up like polysorbate 80, which is like an additive in so much food. It's an emulsifier. And it absolutely slows the absorptions of vitamins and minerals, specific vitamins and minerals. And that's just one additive. And then when your body has to process these additives, some of the things in your body that go against, it's basically like a different type of immune system. It's got to take care of this fight. Well, it could have been doing other things in your body. There's chemicals could have been doing things in your body rather than processing all these additives. It's definitely rough. You got a vitamin D deficiency. Using AI for health advice is peak stupidity. No, it is. I agree. But if you've already done all of the studying and you're doing a live stream and you've already got the data, it's the fastest way to get people to start looking into it. Staying quiet doesn't help you just because it makes you look more pathetic. Lamau. Doesn't matter if it depends on that poll, Reginald. Lamau is code for cope. AI is correctly diagnosed many patients where doctors are able to come up with anything helpful. And the thing is, they're not being very helpful. Doctors are able to prescribe you pills for symptoms, but what's the underlying causes? And I have a pretty good theory that a lot, like more than 50% of a lot of our issues, at least in America, are due to vitamin or mineral deficiency. And I want to get that changed in the way that our medical system handles, especially when kids get their first like physical at 13 years old. They should be getting a vitamin and mineral deficiency test to see if to make sure they're on a good path before their growth spurts. I don't understand people go to these channels to argue. I don't argue. Yeah, man. They a lot of them are bots. A lot of them are paid. A lot of governments around the world and like anti groups around the world pay bots. Like they buy bots or they pay people to troll, to try to make other people look better. Like the Democrats will do it and the freaking Tea Party will do it. I'm sure the Republicans do it. I just haven't seen that nearly as much. My mom hid Nutter Butters, but we knew the hiding place. I meant pole. Being a contrarian and it's entertainment. I don't care what you think. Cool. Well, are you entertained, recovering cynic? I don't trust the AI. I don't trust AI. I've already done all the studies, and I've got links to a bunch of the studies that I've read through. It's just when I'm trying to communicate to you folks, like this is the B12 deficiency. It's B12 being used for anxiety and depressive symptoms. This is a Chinese study would show that instead of giving kids SSRI drugs for antidepressants, they're finding a lot of these kids that have ADHD, anxiety, and depression are also low in methylfolate and methylcobalamin, B12 and methylfolate. So they gave that and have a very low or medium levels, have inflammatory markers and mediators. There's lots of kick-ass stuff. Yeah, well, the thing is, you need a place to start. A lot of people that are pro-establishment want you to not find the answers to what you're looking for. They want you to use the government. They want the government to have more control and more power. So they want you to just use the government and the government controlled industries for all of your problems. This is why everybody wants, a lot of on the left are pushing for free healthcare. Well, how about we come together in the middle and we do two things? We figure out a way to make healthcare free and also figure out a better way to do healthcare. It doesn't cost as much and make so people don't get sick as often. So if we have all of these studies that say vitamin and mineral deficiencies can cause a lot of these issues that a lot of people are dealing with, why not go with that first? If ADHD can be made worse or mimicked by a vitamin deficiency, why, when you go to your doctor and you say, I have brain fog, I'm depressed, I can't concentrate, oh, here you go, here's some speed. Why not first check for a vitamin or mineral deficiency? Especially if you have kids that are eating school lunches and freaking dino nuggies, they're not eating enough beef or whatever to get B12, or if they have no intrinsic factor. This was reported yesterday as asked for the court order for executive order for the mail-ins. If you have time to hate, you all have some time. It's time to be supportive, right? Yeah, and this is why I think so many people are leaving the Democrat Party. Like now, there's a Republican voting liberal sect. Do you know that Pennsylvania had 1 million more Democrat voters, registered Democrat voters than Republicans? And now they only have 50,000 more Democrat voters than Republicans. So many people have shifted. Even there are now Republican voting because they're heading off a cliff. They're not handling. They're saying we'll give you free healthcare. How about finding out while we're sick? I missed something. I can't say it. Rough, tough. Can you say rough? Graham is looking at us. Graham is looking up at us right now. Yeah. Animal proteins are more complex than vegetable proteins, and more important acids, amino acids that compose them. Exactly. So when you see, I'm getting my protein, how do you know? You're getting something that's called protein, but is it the right kind of proteins? What up, Shiraj? What's up, Chris? Oh my God. Enemy shadows. Protein does get metabolized. What do you want about me? What up, Walrus? Kellogg's Gaming. I don't like liver. I have to thank Dad forced me to eat it as a kid. Yeah, the muscular issues, right? Golly Booth. Recovering Cynic, Taco Kisses, magnesium glycinate supplements help. Also probiotic supplements. Yep, I've got magnesium glycinate also. Scarface. An easy way to get minerals, consume natural salts, natural pieces. Yeah, Himalayan salts. That's what I use. That's what I use for my food. For minerals. High carb diet, low cortisol diet. We had well water growing up. Friends would come over, fill up jugs. City water sucked. Yeah, and you can feel the difference. You can feel the difference. It's absolutely, especially if you're on tap water for a long time and you go over somebody's house and you have well water. If you have a mineral deficiency, that well water can help correct. You can actually feel a difference in it. It's pretty interesting. The alpha wolf always gets the liver and the kill because it doesn't start the liver. But yeah, that's correct. That's correct. They always go for the liver first, the alpha. Rich, I've read that vitamins can build up in your system and cause death in some cases. Some can, absolutely. The problem is, though, you don't typically have an issue with a bunch of people dying from vitamin overdoses unless they're eating like a bunch of kids. Like kids are eating like those candy flavored vitamins and whatnot is typically where you find an issue. The important thing is to make sure doctors start checking for vitamin and mineral levels, because if you're taking vitamins like all in one or multivitamins and you don't know, like maybe you're low in one of the vitamins that's in that whole stack and you feel a little bit better when you're taking it, so but you're also getting all the other vitamins along with that, so then you take it again and again because it makes you feel a little bit better, but now you're going to overdose on all those other vitamins. This is why it's important to get a level check to see where you're at, especially if you have issues. If you have issues you're going to the doctor for, you should absolutely you should request and push to request a vitamin and mineral deficiency. Yes, if you're just going for a checkup and everything's fine, then everything's not probably fine. But why wait 40 years before they finally do it? Coincidence? Love still one of a kind. Hello, Siraj. Hello. So vitamin A and vitamin E are oil-based vitamins. Like you can't really take too much vitamin C or B12. There is something called you can, some very rarely there are people, but there's no upper established limit for B12. But there are people that have gotten injections and people that have gotten IV bags, like hangover bags. Have you ever heard about them? People with hangovers go and get an IV bag full of fluids and vitamins and minerals IV'd into them. Well, people that do that all the time can get, because it's going straight into your blood. But if it's going through your mouth, it's just important to know it, to look it up. Just start making it part of your daily education, looking up, hey, I've got these issues. What vitamin or mineral deficiencies could cause this? And think about, what are you taking? What do I eat? What's in what I eat? There's actually a licensed practicing Dr. Wiener in my state. You can go, many vitamins can be bad. Yeah, right. The dose makes the poison. Vitamin crack's dangerous. Doctors are great for health. Doctors aren't great. No, they're there for symptom control. That's what they do. You go there and they say, what are your symptoms? These pills will help your symptoms. They don't say, well, let's see what's causing this. And that's what's got to change. Yeah, it's called practice for a reason, right, Bradley, brother? I'd honestly take AI over most doctors' health advice. At least it's a good place to start. You don't say, hey, my farts smell funny, and AI says freaking, what, do this, that. You say, okay, it might be this. Let me look into it. Let me take a couple hours and look into it. Start it as a starting place. But finding out if it's a possibility, and if AI says, yes, it's a possibility, say, okay, now how can I find what studies have been done? It doesn't take long. And if you've been suffering with something for years, and the doctors it only spend 7 minutes with you at the most when you go visit them, what do you think they're doing? Hey guys, my LLM, a stupid phone, had to guide me to a video game, hallucinated so much BS. That's me. My potassium gets low and it's painful. I've had it a few times. Got up because the Charlie horse and both calves. Yeah, and your feet get like pushed forward in your calves, and you have to like bend your feet back like that. When I had potassium magnesium deficiency, I had that to me too. Look up what MD comes to AIDS or cancer. There's only 2 meats that are toxic. One is polar bear liver due to overdose of vitamin E. I think is it E or A? I think it's A. Might be E. I could have swore it was A. Out there, urea saturation, almost all are edible. I'm Google Health advice too, but AI runs search engines anyway. What up, Crystal Belia? Flint's bring back Flint says by real philanthropists are vine dressers. They plant orchards. What's going on, crack nip cat? Chinese parents also give old-fashioned whooping so that somehow fixes ADHD very quickly. I remember those Flintstone boys. Like, yeah, me too. Flintstone vitamins, same as the gummy shape. Playback Flintstone cigarettes. Winston's take good. Come on. I remember the old Winston commercials. Hey, Richard, that's my husband. I haven't seen him in a couple days, Kat. The banking system is fruit of the poisonous tree. Known as God, knowledge of good and evil. I agree. What up, Thadiel? Will methylfolate help my crack nip addiction? I do not know, brother. They call banks branches. That's right. Purple, it's the purple the best. Right, crack nip sounds like gold with turkey burgers. I take statins for high cholesterol that cause a massive heart attack. Somehow go, but now I find I take CoQ10 because the statins cause muscle spasms. But right, so interesting thing about that, Biff, is often look into vitamin K2. Talk to your doctor about vitamin K2 deficiency, because a lot of times the reason that you're put on statins is because you have a lot of a buildup in your veins and arteries, right? But what can happen is vitamin D3, sunlight hits your skin and converts cholesterol into vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 helps pull calcium out of your intestines, puts it into your bloodstream, but it just stays there going around your bloodstream, hard in your arteries and whatnot, unless you have enough K2 to activate these particular compounds that will pull the calcium out of your bloodstream and soft tissues. So a lot of times that's a big issue. If you have tooth plaques, that could be a determining, like that could be a symptom of a K2 deficiency. Have you heard of EGM guys just follow a Mediterranean diet? Yeah, no, but people won't do it. They don't do it. They lie and they sneak and they eat freaking wackadoo. Yeah, statins lower cholesterol in the body, not just the veins and arteries. Your brain is mostly cholesterol. And there's a theory that some dementia and Alzheimer's type symptoms can be from statins. First, your tap water sketchy, food is sketchy. Most people have bad sleep hygiene. Agree. I miss the spring back family fan still, but using AI as neighbors. Mediterranean cultures are creepy AF. Not about the way they do. Never tasted water smell special. Thanks for sharing that about the alpha wolf. Gave me inspiration for my novel. What up, Jim? The only being pushed on people with cholesterol and diabetics. Right. Very, very interesting, though, to look into vitamin K2 deficiency. It causes the calcification of the vasculature, which can lead to little itty bitty bits of calcium on the vein and artery walls, so they're not smooth. So then cholesterol can stick to it. Mediterranean diets help with the visions. I don't take that. If I didn't take them, I wouldn't. I take some 10 to 11 pills a day. Wow, dude. I'm out. Two Orca brothers sell clear out sharks. They also hunted for sharks. Shark liver. I'm a UPS driver. I live in the suburbs where my route is rural. I drink well water all day. Work, feel better than ever. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. Listen, people do not realize. They think, oh, you drink 8-ounce glasses of water a day. Right. But what are you supposed to get? Is it just H2O? No. What used to be in water? Minerals used to be in water. If you're just drinking tap water, you're not getting what we used to get 100 years ago out of well water and whatnot. You don't have the minerals, and if you're not adding to that, if you're not supplementing your minerals, or the minerals that you're not getting from water anymore, and then also drinking a lot of water can filter you out quicker, it can cause you to pee much more often. So when you have these proteins, these compounds, not just proteins, vitamins and minerals, you're also washing them out quicker. That's a problem with diarrhea too, is that the poop moves too fast through you too fast, and it's not having enough time to absorb what it needs out of the food. I've eaten banana bags. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out, brother. I'm probably really far behind. I just saw the message about shark meat. You can order shark meat and some rash. Yeah, liver's the big issue. Was talking about polar bear liver. So AI should be rely on for health stuff. No. You don't rely on AI for health stuff. Absolutely not. But you should be able to ask Google or any AI, hey, what vitamin deficiencies or I have this problem. What vitamin deficiency causes that? And then say, okay, can you show me why? Lead to the links. Can I get to the studies and find out if it's wrong? But it's a place to start. Else you're just going to go to a doctor's office. It's going to say, hey, you've got these symptoms. Here's these pharmaceuticals for these symptoms. You want to find out what could cause your symptoms. Yes, go to the doctor, get a blood, but you should be requesting blood tests. You should. If you've never done one for vitamin and mineral deficiency, you should absolutely do one. Don't overcomplicate. My brother had high blood sugar, super strict with food, exercise, medicine, diet of low blood sugar. Jesus. Doctors are looking for an answer that allows them to prescribe the most chronic meds. Right. The more meds come out, they come out for symptoms. Like a lot of people are on ding-a-ling hardening pills, and a lot of times they wouldn't need them had they boosted their zinc intake and zinc ionophore intake. Kat, I've only read about the alpha wolf thing. I don't remember any source. You might want to fact check me. I had a cardiologist who I've seen over the last 10 years. She's really good and would know. I'm just saying, brother. I'm just saying. Just say, hey, can I have my K2 levels checked? I mean, I would say if you haven't had a vitamin and mineral deficiency check, have it done, because your body works. It's a very, very, very amazing how the body can clean and repair itself. Vitamin K2 deficiency and arterial plaque. Oh, here you go. Brought it up anyway. Okay. All right. Vitamin can lead to weak bones, arterial calcification, and poor calcium regulation. While rare, this lack of fat-soluble vitamin impacts long-term skeletal and cardiovascular systems. So not getting the calcium out of the soft tissues can be wackadoo. Now, Michael Jackson and caviar have a lot in common. They both came with little white crackers. Freaking settle, bro. Guess who's back? What up, monk? I can confirm that alpha but does not always get the liver. I love Michael Jackson. He was born a black man, died a Mexican grandma. Cracknip, I have a hell of a story for you. Worked the school district, self floats right over. In 97, I got chickenpox for the first time. Next month, meningitis. Rich, why does it feel like you're talking directly to me and lying and cheating on my diet? Not talking directly to you. I think everyone does. I think everyone we do is thanks to vitamin D. It's priceless and free unless you're in the Nordic area. Right. Listen, a lot of people don't understand cholesterol and how cholesterol works in the body. It's only ever talked about as an evil, bad, horrible thing when it's one of the most important things you can put in your body. It's one of the most important compounds in your body. And if you're taking pills, statins and stuff that take it out of your bloodstream or keep it from absorbing, this is another big problem with GLP-1 medications. It can slow how much you're eating, and if you're not getting what you need from your diet, you got to supplement. So I got the needle up my spine, felt good, felt the pressure leaving my neck, and my legs started to buckle. Next thing I know, I'm paralyzed from the waist down from freaking chicken transverse myelitis. Had to learn how to walk again. Took a couple years. Jesus, Chris. Drink homemade electrolyte Kool-Aid. I buy the unsweetened powder packs to add my own correct amounts of sugar of what's correct hydration, potassium powder, salt, stevia sweeten. B12 and methylfolate deficiencies increase homocysteine levels, damage blood vessels. Right. And it also, homocysteine levels lead to more psychological issues. And if you look at ADHD and homocysteine levels, so this is why it's important to make sure that the B12 can be able to cancel out the homocysteine. Methylfolate is super, super, super important. I currently have a K2 deficiency. I need more spice in my system. Now I have drinking and feeling terrible today. Hangover, Super Obama? On this day in 1868, they added the 14th Amendment. Congrats. Happy birthday, 14th Amendment. Where did it get us? Okay. And what did I want to say? Oh, damn it. Super Obama. Yeah, I used to know a lot of people that drank Pedialyte. Super, super drinkers. Oh, man, that stuff. I'm glad I don't drink no more. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's do this. Vitamin deficiencies and cardiovascular health. Okay. D, B, especially folate and 12, vitamin C. Low levels can disrupt blood pressure, increase artery damaging inflammation, and raise homocysteine levels, increasing overall cardiovascular strain. And it's one of the easiest things to fix is a vitamin or mineral deficiency, especially like if there's something wrong with your intestines or your intestinal microbiota. then you can supplement with sublingual or dermal like vitamins and minerals. It's super important. I really wish we need to change the law because I know people aren't going to do it. We need to change the way the medical system works and start making them get in trouble if we start finding out, or when we start finding out, that a lot of this stuff, especially ADHD drugs, so many kids that could be prevented being put on these, but they're made cool now. Let women vote. For ultra hangover for my organs. Got enough crack nip. Freaking monk. I remember that for the dead go to a better place and the alive stay at a worse place. That's right. That's right. If the dead go to a better place and the alive live in a worse place. The electrolyte Kool-Aid is equivalent to Pedialyte. Electrolyte wise, cheaper, the same price. The bottle of Pedialyte can make like 10 gallons of the homemade version. Yeah, I would imagine. Pothead by nature. Society has forced me to become an alcoholic. Would rather a pilot be a drinker or a pothead. I think the latter on. Me oh my. Me oh my. There's nothing worse than disease that strike without any clear reason. I'm watching my aunt who still suffers from ALS. It's the worst disease. And if you start looking into like what China is doing, like that's like the study that I just had up there a minute ago. It was about how the Chinese are handling their school age kids with anxiety, depression, and ADHD. And they're using what the result of the study said was basically in about I think it was 80 to 90% of the kids with depression, anxiety, and ADHD, they had low B12. So is there an issue with where your body can't make the dopamine and serotonin? So B12 helps the production of dopamine and serotonin, norepinephrine, melatonin. So, but what we do is when people are depressed, they're given antidepressants a lot of times that manipulate serotonin. It doesn't create more serotonin, but why don't they try to make the body create more serotonin first? Like when people go and they say, I'm depressed, they should say, let's see if maybe you're not eating right. Maybe you're not getting, maybe there's something wrong with your intestines and you're not getting the proper amounts of the vitamins and minerals that you're supposed to get. It just, listen, it's common sense, and it needs to be enforced. As a society, we've decided if death is the end of a transition. As a society, we have yet to decide it. Yeah. Oh no, you're saying we have to decide. Well, I mean, some society has. You know, some parts of society, depending if you hang out with the secularists, the Christians, the Muslims, you know, they've got different outlooks. So I mean, like to a lot of people, but there's some very, very interesting stuff, especially from the CIA. Yeah. That brother, well, I agree with you. Hopefully your aunt heals. I don't want to do this. Let's do this. Let's just see. Okay, so oddly enough, Walrus, this is just a quick thing. We'll go to Science Direct. Okay. Okay. All right, vitamin D deficiency and its supplementation in patients with ALS. Okay, so what this goes through, it talks about vitamin B12 and vitamin D deficiencies that can exacerbate and cause the faster progression of ALS. Tired of hearing about the Democrats saying you have to bring a birth certificate and passport to vote. As liberal, she asked a conservative woman how to vote with simple driver's license. Greg, listen, I think the Democrats and Republicans are mostly in agreement on this. The people, that is the leadership that's not. And the thing, this is what's going to end up happening. If the Democrats knew that Trump was going to do this, and he said it, he's been saying it for almost a decade now, 8 years, 9 years, whatever. Then why didn't they push something through to make sure everybody could easily get the paperwork that they needed? Like say, hey, everybody, it looks like in 2 years you're going to need this in order to vote. So if you have any issues getting this paperwork, here's a website to go to help. Like they're saying, oh, it's going to keep all these people from being able to vote. Then help them get the correct paperwork. It doesn't make any sense. They're just complaining without anything. Society doesn't like to know. Society doesn't like when you don't want to participate in the game anymore. I agree. Kyoto. Society's good. Okay. So 81% of people with the ALS they studied had a vitamin D level lower than recommended. 43% had it way low. They took 2,000 IUs a day after adjustment for a linear regulation. The score was better. Looking at CETA, the median vitamin D levels rose at the end of the 6 months. Supplementation was used, and further studies are warranted. So, it said it may have a beneficial effect on ALS scores. Yeah, listen, it just doesn't seem. It seems odd that. It seems odd that they don't, that when you go to doctors, especially for issues like anything, they just say, well, hey, we want to make sure you've got what your body needs to help you in this tough time. All right, Kat, have a good night. Peace out. When I tried to register Republican as my voter, the application never went through. No, I didn't get it back up, Alec. Yeah, so today they were saying that in 2020, there were 1 million more Democrats than Republicans registered in Pennsylvania. And now that lead is only 50,000 people. So that means that so many people have swapped from Democrat to Republican just in Pennsylvania that the lead went from 1 million voter lead to 50,000 voter lead. That's crazy. Brother, I didn't know. I haven't had the time. I don't even know where the power supply is for it. It's probably not coming back up anytime in the next couple of days. Maybe if I can get time Wednesday or Thursday, so tomorrow or Thursday, but I wouldn't count on it being up before the weekend. All right, let's see what it says here. Okay, so freaking dare walrus. So do not cause ALS. Certain nutrients like low vitamin D and B12 may influence disease progression or mimic neurological symptoms. So the neurological symptoms that appear to be ALS could be a low or influence made worse by low B12. She underwent every medical brother, okay, I you're not in America, so I don't know. But if you were in America, they wouldn't have checked vitamin levels. They might have checked D, but they probably wouldn't have checked any of the other ones. You can accept that, or you can make sure they do it. I was pro-Trump, but he really seems lost his mind and is greedy as hell. I wasn't really pro-Trump, but I'm actually definitely getting more Trumpified. I'll tell you what. What only thing it took me to do was put me in his place. And if the whole Democrat Party and a bunch of the Republican Party went for my family and tried to get me put in jail and didn't really help me not get shot at multiple times and this and that, I would probably be like, well, I want to make sure that this gets buttoned up. And it does appear to still be that even the Democrat voters now think that the Republicans will do better for the future outlook of their finances. Here, I'll show you. We'll just watch something here. I'm registered Democrat Pennsylvania only because everyone in my small town, honestly, local positions just run Democrat. No one runs Republican. And a lot of people have done that. Yeah, they like I said, went from 1 million Democrat lead to a 50,000 Democrat lead. That means a crap load of people are swapping, doodling over. All right, check this out. We'll get into politics.
we got to talk about the Democrat Party because it is an absolute shit.
Whoa. The workout powder, given the proper vitamins, person needs weight gain supplements. Jim, we only know what they put on the TV, right? It's not like we have any insider data, but the theater that we get to see. Hopefully everyone has a good rest of the day. It was a good experience. First time here. Nice to meet you, my friend.
Shambles. As we are getting closer and closer to this year's midterms, make sure you get out and vote. Of course, in these midterms, don't sit back just because things are looking good. I'm about to show you some really good things. But this all means absolutely nothing if we don't show up and vote in the same numbers that we did in the 2024 election. Now, we're getting some great stories from behind the scenes. One being, right, for example,
definitely, especially when you see the broken Mount liberals are morally bankrupt.
Called up Senator Bernie Sanders and basically told him that he needed to chill out and stop endorsing these communist candidates. And Bernie Sanders basically gave him the middle finger and said, alone.
Let's get here.
That $15 million.
We know higher levels of pollution causes increase of miscarriages and murder. Yeah. I mean, so Billy, this is an interesting thing that I talked about 10 years ago. So there used to be a conspiracy theory, and that's the reason they want to consider unborn children not children. So if there's anything like the Pokedoodle or any other environmental issues that are caused by corporations that may cause miscarriage or death of the fetus, then it wouldn't be considered. Damn it. It's absolutely nuts. If they want to be able to legally define an unborn fetus as not human, then if things get found out that caused that, they would have precedent to say, well, it's not actually it's not actually a human. It's not actually a baby until it's born. That's crazy that you said that, because that's like something that we were talking about like 10 years ago.
The New Jersey governor and Virginia's governor elected, Mikey Sherrill, and I can't think of the other chick's name. The far leftist, she ran as a moderate. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head, but they borrowed money to get those folks elected. And now they're in debt. But it gets worse, guys. It gets worse. I got this clip from Harry Enton, and it's terrible for the Democrat Party right before the midterms, too, man. Check it out.
What are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about cash on hand. We're talking about cash on hand. And, you know, Democrats, they're much more like this. They're your $1 bills. While Republicans, you're much more like this, your 50s, and dare I say, even your $100 bills.
This is CNN.
Because just take a look here. Cash on hand from the main outside groups, ergo, your congressional committees, right, your NRSC. Take a look here. Republicans at this point, $657 million. My goodness gracious, that's why I'm talking about these bills, right, $100 bills. While the Democrats, only about $334 million, only about half the level of Republicans. And of course, cash is what makes the world go round in politics. Now, you think that these numbers are bad? How about the national committees themselves?
Yeah,
the
this
RNC,
is where it gets bad.
The DNC, Republican National Committee.
Here's where it gets worse.
Democrat National Committee.
Yeah.
Look at this. Cash they have, June 2026. The RNC, $129 million.
Now, this is just absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, the DNC is in debt.
M's. Wow, the RNC is
I
up
do not tell you what I like it.
That's just absolutely pathetic.
What I can agree with you, because they are so heavily skewed Democrat, but I think because of what they're showing now, and now that there aren't very many large donors donating to the DNC anymore after they spent $2.5 billion in 100 days on the Kamala Harris campaign. And so much money went to just wackadoo. And on the autopsy, the Democrat autopsy, why Kamala didn't win autopsy, they didn't explain why they spent the money the way they did on things that wouldn't help the campaign. It just seemed like people started grabbing. So now there's no huge vendors. You don't have like what's the guy that owns Meta? He's not like giving $500 million anymore and stuff like that. So it's absolutely wackadoo. What up, Lib? Give that bread circus, will never revolt. Well, interesting thing is most people don't know that Democrat and Republican ain't in the Constitution at all. This whole wackadoo thing basically is what it is, bread and circus.
That's pretty gosh darn good, right? But get this, the Democrats are a rarity. The DNC is red on your screen. Why are they red? Because they're literally in the red, way down there. They're actually in negative territory. That's cash on hand subtracted by the party debt. The party debt actually is greater than the cash on hand. The Democratic National Committee.
Do you think the DNC will get collateral for their building?
It's broke.
They're so broke, they're trying to get $50 million loan against their building, against their DNC headquarters. That's crazy that they're in debt. Usually they've got lots of money. And listen, I think it's pretty obvious to most. Like I said, there's a lot of Republican voting liberals that understand that, and I think he gets to it a little bit in here, how even the Democrat voters, people that are registered Democrat, are over 50% of them now are saying that the Democrat is too liberal.
Why is this? What is going on here? And it is because Democratic enthusiasm for the Washington establishment is way down there underwater, under the Potomac River.
Right, that's what pissed off everybody. When I was still in the movie industry, all the super Democrats that were in there, like they were Bernie bros and whatnot, and they left the Democrat Party after they didn't even have a chance to vote for Bernie Sanders. Like no primary. Yeah, so Campbell may run again. She is running again. She just said it today. That's why I pulled it out. How much? Yeah, I went at 2 million megs. Should be zero. It's net. Yeah, it's less than zero, right? Yeah, that's what it seems like they've been doing. It seems like they're like, okay, we always win at the midterms at whenever there's a Republican president. For like the past 10 times, or Republicans have been president. The Democrats always win the midterms. So I think they just think it's in the bag, so they're not spending any money on it.
Look at this. Look at this.
She's not
I mean, hello, approve of their own party in Congress. We're talking about a new Tea Party here. You know, back in July of 2010, when Republicans really did not like their congressional leadership, right? Really didn't like it. Still, 52% of Republicans approved of their own party in Congress. Look at where Democrats are now. They are in a worse position, the Democrats in Congress, than Republicans were during their Tea Party wave of 2010. Now,
right, and we lost. Now I'm a Republican, but the Republicans lost back then with 52% of the people in the party said the party was doing good. Now less than half the people in the party say that they like their party.
They can't even reach the 50% mark, and we're talking within their own party.
Right, I mean, that's what pissed people off so much. They were kept saying Trump, destroy democracy, Trump will destroy democracy, he'll destroy democracy, and then they destroyed their own democratic way to have a primary. And so it was like, how does this work out? It's the way the society decide on things like life's sacred. Should international follow? Oh, they have different rules for that. I agree. Yeah, rules for me rather than they.
My goodness gracious! And of course, this to me is part of a larger problem that Democrats have when it comes to their own popularity. You know what it is? It's way down there underwater. Take a look at this. Okay, the Democratic Party net favorability back in 2018. Back in 2018,
listen, and people think that the people that they're interviewing think that the Republicans, the Democrats think that the Republicans have a better chance to get them out of the economy. What up, Mike? Hello, my friend. Do you remember your 5 Gospels of Jesus? Yes, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Donald. Do you do much propagation with your garden, Richard? Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I do air layering and I do cloning. I do lots of propagation. Yeah, I'm doing good, brother Mike.
Democrats were able to take control of the House. They were actually on the plus side of the ledger. They were actually in positive territory at plus 1 point. Look now in 2026. We're not just talking down there underneath the Potomac. We're talking down there with the Titanic. We're talking 24 points underwater. And this is just the party overall. This isn't the congressional leadership. This is the party. The party. It's just a terrible, terrible, terrible brand. Terrible. I want to almost get my Charles Barkley. Terrible, terrible. I can't even do a Charles Barkley. But the bottom line is it's absolutely terrible. Now, what is the reasons? Why is the Democratic brand so terrible? Well, one reason why the Democratic brand is so terrible at this point in the voters' minds is take a look at this trend line. Voters saying that Democrats are too liberal.
It's a mess.
In 1996, it was 42%. In 2013, it was 58%. Now, the clear majority of Americans believe, and the clear majority of voters say that the Democratic Party is too liberal. 57%, they think that the Democratic Party is out of the mainstream, out of the frame, I dare say. Beautiful. My God, this is a massive...
I agree, Mud Butters.
This number is a much bigger problem than just that because, you know, the communists are really taking over the party and taking it even further to the left. So if you've already got a majority of Democrats saying, hey, listen, you guys are way too far, and now you got the communists taking over the party and pushing it even further, this number is just only going to get worse. And I would suspect it's already worse. I would say it's over 60%, right? Because you got to understand this is CNN, right. And
don't worry about it, brother. Life's
work, right?
changing.
They were telling us Kamala Harris.
Listen. It was good. It was good progressing till we got to where most people wanted to be. But when your brand is progressing, once you're the haves to the party, once you're the haves to that party, they need to find have-nots, people that aren't you to progress past. You got to constantly, where's the ending point for liberalism? And the problem is we've already gotten very, very, very good place in America. And when you try to take us to an uncomfortable place, especially quickly, that's where I think a lot of people are feeling it.
Was in the third party in 2024 was good.
We don't have no popular third party.
Was more than likely going to win, and she got blown out.
I mean, he's going through the history numbers now, and this is the only time it ever seems like it may get close. And he gets into it. We'll continue to watch it. Where I live, Walmart's Paradise at 6 a.m. I'm going to consider myself liberal. It's not liberal. Yeah, right. I was a liberal also, and they went way too far. Way too far. And I think the whales are speaking. Like the Democrat donation whales aren't donating. They're just not. They're not putting their money in it.
You decline as these communists, the AOCs, the Mamdanis, and Bernie Sanders of the world continue to take over the party.
That's the problem. And you know what is fueling that? You know what's only adding fuel to the fire? How about the Democratic Socialists of America? You know, I mentioned a new Tea Party. Net favorable opinion of the Tea Party back in June of 2010 versus the Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA right now.
Definitely magical. Moving
Remember,
3
the
or 4
Tea Party
little branches turning into 20. Yep.
Keep Democrats in control of the United States Senate back in 2010.
I agree. And I think a lot of people also realize Trump isn't up for re-election. And a lot of people are happier with at least the Republicans becoming more of a liberal party rather than the Democrats becoming more of a socialist communist party. I'm just talking about in general. The liberal, there are now Republican voting liberals. Like I said, Pennsylvania had a plus 1 million registered Democrat lead on Republicans. Plus 1 million. That's at plus 50,000 now. So many people have registered Republican from Democrat to Republican that they've lost a 1 million voter lead to 50,000 voter lead. That's very, very, very big. And the thing is also where independents are. 77% of independents aren't happy with the Democrats' current tryst with the DSA.
Because Republicans ran all these candidates that were just seen out of the mainstream.
We
right?
have the state
Christine
process, two
O'Donnell in
parties,
Delaware.
limited
How
options,
about
masters
Ken
pulling
Buck in
puppet strings.
Colorado?
Yeah.
How about Sharon
I think
Angle,
Trump
who
made
did the
one because he
impossible in
promised to
Nevada
stop the war in
and
Ukraine.
helped
Everyone
get
said
Harry
the
Reid
freaking war.
another term in the United States?
He actually mentions that in here too about Iran. The general population, Democrats and Republicans. Democrats have a 2% positive outlook, saying that Trump has a better chance of ending the Iran war properly over the Democrats.
Senate
Leadership.
Well,
they're just seen as weak.
Rating back in June of 2010.
There's too much money spent to keep the massacre going.
Not too hot to try.
I vote third party, lesser two evil, still too evil for me. Yeah, right.
Not absolutely terrible compared to the
been a
DSA
Republican
now.
and a Democrat, now an independent.
25 points underway. Twice as unpopular as the Tea Party was back in June of 2010. Now,
I think I may have saw that.
Broaden this out.
We have to allow more people to think like Trump, ready to take the presidency.
What are the effects of this? How could this play out? Well,
I think that's a big problem.
House candidates' money race. You know, it's not as bad for Democrats in the House as it is for their party committees, but still, they're in a worse position now in terms of the percentage of cash that's been raised by Democrats versus Republicans. We're talking about they get 55% of the cash raised. That is down from the 61%. So even though Democrats are ahead in the cash race for the House candidates, they are in a worse position than they were back in 2018 when they took back the House. Now, this to me is part of what we're seeing in the overall House picture, right? The playing field is smaller.
Democrats
smaller
are
for
now
Democrats. House seats at least leaning towards
and the talking heads for the socialists are freaking like if I could find the clip from Fox News earlier, when Fox News interviewed one of the leaders of the DSA, they were like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of prisons, we're gonna get rid of the Senate, and the presidency is the way you know it. We're gonna get rid of it's not your father's Democratic Party. It's mostly communist. You will own nothing and be happy. Will also take your money and guns. I think that's pretty much where it's headed. And I think most independents were down with the Democrats chest thumping, talking about reducing gun ownership in America. But when it's communists, they're like, no, I want to hold my guns because you guys are getting crazy. I used to be against the death penalty and abortions. Lately, I just don't care. It's sad. Yeah, and I think that's happening to a lot of people. I think we're starting to lose our morality, our love for being alive, our love for humans. And like, it's definitely happening hardcore on the left. You're seeing a lot more people on the left, at least on the internet, that seem to be happy when people get hurt. Just to be curious, do you need a program to split up your screen so you can stream, watch stuff on YouTube at the same time? Yeah. It's called OBS, Open Broadcast Software, Open Broadcast Studio. That's free. The last election union didn't even ask to open for college. Right. And my union, the IATSE Union, International Association for Stage and Theater Employees, said, vote. We got to vote. We got to keep Trump out. We got to keep Trump out. And now they're saying, vote your interests. And they've always said vote Democrat. For the years that I've been in there, independents are no 47, Dems, Republicans are around 27. I mean, seriously, what's the alternative to prisons, firing squads? I think they think that mental health care can help. Like they want like mental health street squads to be like, oh, you know, you're being beat up by your husband, so we'll have somebody come out and talk you guys through it so our crime numbers don't go up. No problem, brother. What up, freak out? Happiness does cost money. A lot of people. Yeah, and the Democrats that I've spent so much time with, that's exactly what they're saying. They're saying vote Republican to save the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party obviously is full of people that are weak on stances that they want them to be strong on. And then until we get some freaking masculinity back in the Democrat Party, it doesn't seem like it's going to be saved.
GOP, according to the Cook Political Report, this is the Trump midterms. Back in July of 2018, it was 206 seats at this point that were leaning towards the GOP, at least leaning. Now it's 212 in a race to 218. Republicans are nearly to that 218 marker. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get there, but they're much closer than they were at this point in the 2018 cycle. Now, this is, again, part of a larger trend that we're seeing. National trend lines. Democrats lead on the generic ballot. Again, midterms with the Republican president. In 2006, Democrats were up by 10 points. They took back the House. In 2018, they were up by 8 points, very similar to 10. Now that lead is on one hand. It's just 5. It's just 5 points. Now, why is this 5 points so important? Because Republicans
Dems can't win. They
have
feel deep
helped
trouble. Trump is
make
perfect, but
it
he
so
does
important.
everything.
How?
Well,
Through
the thing is, I think so many people have been programmed to just think Trump, 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 that they're not seeing the rest of the Republican Party shift a little more liberal. That's what, like, when you realize that you have to get away from what they constantly say on the news about Trump, 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 Trump. When anybody talks to a Democrat leader, they say, well, Trump, 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 Trump. But what's your plan? What's your plan? And they just say, oh, we got to get Trump out. And it's very, very, we got here somehow, and that had to do with the Republicans and the Democrat Party. And the only party that seems shifting towards common sense is the Republican Party going more liberal. Happiness costs you time, and money can make you comfortable. It can never buy happiness or time, right? Can't buy time. When it comes to abortions, I take Jesus' quote: "He who was without sin cast the first stone." Woman may be or an abortion back then. What's the biggest fruit trees you may have? It might have. I have a huge fig tree, and my largest tree is a fig tree. Yeah, and I've got apple, and I've got lemons and lime trees. Have you tried? I haven't tried sand method. No, brother. Men and women, girls, boys. Yeah, they went too far. The Democrats wanted such a big tent that they wanted to find every minority to try to group together, say, we'll save everybody's lives. We'll save everybody's lives. We'll save everybody's lives. But they also brought in the communists. And it's just like, listen, some people just need help. Democrat, nope. Shut up. What up, Daddy Phillip? I'm not really that religious. I even heard Jesus do whores, abortions, loved them anyway. Yes, Jesus was a lover. Yeah, absolutely. He was without sin cast the first stone. Why is the DNC? Yeah, it's broke. Yeah, they're $2 million in debt, and they're way behind their money raising goals, and their whales aren't donating. So you've got a lot of super donors that are no longer donating because they're not happy with where the money went during the Kamala Harris campaign. Trump is very popular upstate New York. The Democratic plan is orange man bad. Right. You got to tell us how to plan for our futures. I grew up. He's the channel spy. He's just checking everybody, giving everybody some representation. And if anybody wants to go subscribe to you, they get your at. I serve a girl. Both my parents ran a beautiful yard, trees, veggies, flowers. Yep. I'm not finished decorating yet. Republicans who dump Trump will be elected. Those who embrace Trump on the street. Let's see. They wouldn't have a lock if they're extremes in their party. They went found out the rainbow folk don't vote much. And I think that's a big thing too. I think you have a bunch of people that aren't voting, but they're announcing their hate for the Republicans. And they got a bunch of people that unfortunately seem to have a lot of mental health issues that are seen as the mouthpiece because the Democrat Party doesn't say this ain't us. This ain't us. People that are, it's bad. It's bad. Be careful. Pick up VOCs of your paints. Getting them ventilated.
Redistricting efforts. The redistricting efforts, which means so much. Okay, Democrats in the National House vote margin, their current poll lead nationally is 5. How much do they need to win back?
I highly doubt it's 5.
Guarding his life. I agree.
I agree. Maybe 2.
You have to be good. I agree. You run a good show.
If
even
not,
numbers massive right now. Your direction. Thank you, Mike, brother.
5 right now. That's just my personal opinion.
The U.S. House of Representatives. Well, with redistricting, we're talking about 3 to 4. Democrats are right on the margin. Republicans have made them right on the margin.
This is where it gets huge. Is right after this when he says the seats, the states that the Democrats need to win. Trump won in double digits.
So the race of the House is not anywhere close to being cinched up for the Democrats. Now you might notice, I've been saying a lot in a lot of period of time. I'm a little.
It's all lies.
Woo! So today,
where do you get the truth from?
To quench my draw. All right. Nearly done. All right. We've talked about the House. But perhaps the biggest problem for Republicans, or excuse me, for Democrats, is in the race for Senate control. In the race for Senate control. Okay.
People are crazy.
So let's just talk about the math that is needed here. The math that's needed. States Dems need to win the Senate. They need a total net gain of 4 seats. Well, 3 of these seats they'll have to pick up are in states that Trump won. Trump won back in 2024. And I'll note the one blue state is Maine. And let's be real, at this point, that is very TBD, given all
This is why it seems so weird that they didn't vet Graham Plattner much more on such an important state for the Democrats. Like the tattoo woman.
Graham Plattner stuff, and then having to bring in a new Democratic candidate. That is very...
No, they're not. No, he's saying, if I don't know if you just came in, Kenneth, but he's saying that the Democrats are on the freaking out.
So even that blue state, not anywhere close to being
make you work for the self-sufficient.
Now, we're talking about those red states, right? And only one of those states was won by Trump by a small margin. That was North Carolina, +3, in terms of the pickup opportunities. The rest, Ohio, Alaska, Iowa, Texas, all won by Trump by double digits. We are talking really a lot of states that are on the board that are really red-leaning. That's what's going on here.
Demon fatigue.
You know
what
what?
up, Yogi?
We can go back through
check
history.
out the electrical system.
We can go back to the last Trump midterm election and think, okay, did they pick up any states like this? Well, no, not really. Talk about the 2018 red state Dem pickups. There's just a single one. Just a single numero uno. Just one, baby. Just one. That was Arizona. And Trump won that state by just 4 points. Much more like a North Carolina, right? And Kristen Sinema, the Democrat.
Silver especially.
She was then a Democrat. She only won it by 2.
He's talking about how the Democrats are in the doghouse. Democrat voters and voters in general think the Democrats are too liberal. The states that the Democrats need to win to get back power were all, except for one, all states that Trump won by double digits. So it doesn't look like I'd rather have the canvases for money, watch TV, and cheesy political ads than alienate people in. They have to land to control what you could do. It seems like every year they take away more and more rights along with bigger taxes. Yeah, and I'm happy that taxes came down. Silver, it looks very good. Right, and I think that's a big problem, Brooks, is so many people are upset that how trying to inflate or grow their numbers that they embraced communism. Brought Canada Dry for 25 cents an ounce. Oh, Canadian. Okay, that's like freaking monopoly money. How about stop paying people to comment on politics? They do that a lot. Like probably, you could encourage the neighbor's road plant turn to grows a gardening oasis. Yeah, that's why I like it down here. That's why I like it down here in Georgia. We have a lot of people that live off the land that we can get fresh food, fresh milk, fresh fruits and vegetables, dairies, butchers. But I find it bizarre that man could soil his underwear in public and people still have the confidence enough to vote for him. I don't know. I'm done voting. I think Briggs both ways. Leadership is installed. Seems that way. The sky is falling. All right, let's finish this up here. Sounds like China has stopped X%. Yeah, well, that's because they need silver for the new battery technology. The silver carbon battery charges in 6 minutes, and for the same size battery, it's got double the power density. So the same size battery in an EV will double the EV's range, and it only takes 6 minutes to charge. Electoral system is not fair. There's got to be a change. Watch the video, Electoral for Dummies. Yeah, you betcha. We'll look it up. I bought a shitload of precious metals ETFs. They're getting killed now. I check them once a month. Republicans love the USA. Democrats, yeah, that's what it seems like these days. They want to just rip it up and change it rather than just get the freaking evil out of it. That's what I got. I got it at $20 an ounce in last January. Where enough people live in Georgia living off the land. I'm talking about that have their own farms, have their land, have their chickens and whatnot. I'm down here in right by Noonan in Quita County. It's definitely rigged. I enjoy third party voting. Laugh at both sides.
So there's no real history of this going on here. Now, if we're talking just generally speaking, you can see this here again in the 6 key states that we're looking at. The generic ballot lead for the Republicans +6. Again, 53% of Democrats 53% of the voters in those key swing states say that the Democratic Party is too far to the left. So the Senate battleground, much more even extreme than what we see nationally. Finally, I'll just note in terms of the prediction markets at this point, which kind of brings it all together, the chance to win the Senate, back in April 24th, there was about a 50-50 shot. By July 24th, look at that. The Republican chances now, we put it all together, they're at a 56% chance.
And that's freaking CNN. That's CNN saying that it's still growing. Up in the mining production in North America's personal vault supplies runs low. The price will inflate to initiate the public to sell and fill the supply of it. So there's also what's happened a lot in our politics is they'll have anxiety. They'll publicize doom and gloom to initiate anxiety trading. So people will be like, oh, the world's going to end in 2 years. So let me sell all my precious metal so I can get cash so I can live my life up before the world ends. And then it doesn't end. But while everyone sells and it causes an artificial low, the wealthy will buy at that artificial low. And then when the world doesn't end and the people are like, okay, well, looks like we're going to be here for a little while, they start slowly reinvesting. So they've lost the people that win are the people that do the management because they're getting the fees for the purchasing and the selling. Supply and demand will make it happen. I agree. Yep. It's an evil. It seems to me for years when you vote for a leader, you're purely voting for the man that will read the bad news for you. Doesn't it seem that way? Are we in World War III or World War conflict? It looks like it's getting worse, but it does seem like Bahrain just signed a contract with another for their Bahrain negotiation. Bahrain. Okay, let's see what it was. Bahrain is Israeli normalization agreement. No, they're talking about recently, today or something. King. Let's see if I can find any info on it real quick. Okay, so the president of Bahrain, king of Bahrain, is advancing anti-terrorism coalitions, and that should be very good if people start cleaning up the terrorists. Personal research will beat mainstream media influence. Yeah, and listen, they're not doing very good in it. If you hear that OBS is going to start charging people, do you believe it? No, absolutely not. No, they absolutely won't. Yeah. No, that's a lie. That's people that want to sell you something typically. And you never correct your children if you love them. If you never correct your children, you love them. If you never correct your children, you hate them. Well, that's the way the kids think, right? If you correct them, that you hate them. But if you never correct your children, you love them. If you do correct them, you hate them. That's what the children thinks. Yeah, the writing's on the wall. With Pakistan, is that who it was? Supply and demand with Wall Street stocks share completely different. Supply and demand for consumers who need basic rights services. Right. And I think that's what we need to absolutely push for. We need to push for consumer protections. Absolutely. The computer is mightier than the pen. John Golbani. Most Muslim countries look at Iran as a bigger threat to peace than Israel. And I think that's getting obvious. When you start looking for yourself into why these issues came up, like if you listen to the news, it's like, oh, Trump started the war, Israel, Jews, whatever. But it's not what's going on. That's what people just keep repeating. But when you look into what's going on, when you look into them running out of water, why they were protesting in Iran, why so many of them got killed before the war even started. So many of the protesters got killed. And you see the problems, the lack of water and the mass migration in the areas, what's going on. And then you start looking into the differences between, and when people hear Islam, they think Islam's one religion. Muslims are under one type of religion, but they believe different things, and they have different rules that they live by. And the Iranian Islam is antithetical to, at least the way that they want to do Sharia is antithetical to the other local Islamic countries that are doing very well and prosperous. And Israel could have done the same thing. They have all this freaking oil. They could have all this wealth. And it was very, very prosperous before the caliphate took over. When the World War III starts, guaranteed AI will get the blame. Guaranteed. Same with your country. But I don't know. I know this. My health insurance is 35% higher than it was, and it's all because of the Democrats. Democrats have me carrying people that I don't. It's true. What would full monthly health insurance bill look like for rate set dependent? When I was still getting health insurance, it was $100 a month. We have the right in USA to not support Islam, right? But also, you also have the different, like the Islamophobia laws they're trying to get started, and the people that write those laws are the people that understand Islam for themselves. So the thing is, it is the same thing with the transphobia laws, the same thing with the racism laws, the same thing with the homophobia and fat phobia projected laws. It's the people that don't want bad behavior called out. If you call out bad behavior, then they can say, well, we consider that offends us, so that's blah 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 phobia, and that can't happen. How much is your health insurance per month? Islam is the enemy of humanity. It's and Islam needs better PR. The Islam that doesn't want to promote Sharia needs, and I think that's what's going on now with what's going on in Bahrain, what's going on in Saudi Arabia and whatnot, what's going on in Dubai, UAE. They want to promote they're saying, hey, these ain't our folks. Because the bad folks are going to soil it for the good folks. The Dems are trying to rig the Electoral College. I'm getting 4 national migrants dropped off for eating foods for dinner for U.S. citizens. And there's a lot of people that are really, really upset. Listen, the people that are getting hurt are the middle class. Absolutely. But we're the one with the voting base. My health care is free and amazing, but that's gotten sort of worse since Obamacare started. Maybe it's a coincidence, honestly. I don't care. Jealousy that the adult children could stay on plans now. It's okay. Taxes I see a lot in cheaper states. I'd rather a 20% tax cut for $100 a month health insurance bill. God knows how much of my taxes goes to the medical system. If you correct your country, you hate your country. Yeah, that's what they say. Oy vey. Watching out for the history of the Electoral College. Okay, right. But watch it. What up, Waz? Pictures say Texas and they happen to develop poor people around the globe. Because every day's earthquakes will tell 24 hours before. Jews did 9/11 and get absorbed by the system and not the cause. I served in Iraq and I don't remember being shot at by any Jews. I worked alongside IDF and Mossad. Yeah. It's propaganda. That's propaganda too. What's the middle class? Where's the middle class now? I'm on Medicare and private insurance. My copays are $19.99, $25. Drugs from $60 that meet my deductible for meds around August, and most are free. That's good. Only people that are getting free health care are legal immigrants, the same people who have allowed to stay in the country. I agree. Agreed. And they're getting a lot of it. Listen, 25 million people are being supported by the middle class, not the elite. And the problem is, once you get out of poverty, you can't get government assistance. For instance, if you look at childcare, if you're a single mom and you make a little bit too much money, you now don't get childcare. So if you're broke and you have no job, you get childcare, food care, housing assistance, all that. And that includes a lot of the illegal aliens also. But if you say, okay, I want to work for myself and get a job, but then you say, okay, now you make too much, you don't get childcare. And if you're paying $1,300, $1,400 a month in childcare, that really eats up a long job. Texas, Israel's the only democracy in the Middle East. Yeah, and I think that's why people hate it. I think you have a lot of the Iranian-like Islamists that really just want to, just like how all propaganda works when you want to take something over. You know that you got a lot of people that want Israel gone, that are in and around our propaganda set up and around in our government, and they want to push that because they want that land. My healthcare here, Denmark is free at the point of use. That's good. Individual Canada needs to make $175,000 a year to be considered lower middle class. Jeez. Yep. American Christians have been killed in the West Bank. It's true. Denmark, tiny world in significance. Tiny world. Okay, let's see. What was I looking up, John? I keep forgetting. John Orville. Check the history of the Electoral College. History of the Electoral College.
Hey everyone, I'm your host Malik Mercier, and this is GBH's Why It Matters, the history series where we use the past to explain the present. In the 2016 election, Donald Trump lost the popular vote, but won the Electoral College and thus the presidency. This isn't the first time this has happened in US history. There have been 4 other presidents who lost the popular vote, but won the election, the first being President John Quincy Adams in 1824. But if the United States is a democracy, why aren't presidents elected by popular vote? Why do we have this?
I think Medicare is mandatory at 60, 60, 65. And private insurance becomes secondary. I don't know. Muslim for the government's Canada. Who agrees the USA's National Socialism? Not me. Muslims say Allah Akbar and they commit terror attacks that God empowers them to kill them. The Islamic religion must be stopped.
It's a pleasure to be here, Malik.
So
socialism does not work as soon as you run out of people's money, right? And I think it's very young of people to think that socialism can work. What we need is we need strong capitalism with social welfare programs, but we don't need socialism. The government doesn't do anything right. Why do you think they do socialism right? And what happens to all the independents and conservatives that don't vote for it if we end up with socialism? They're the ones that end up in the mines. National Socialism, if you ever Google what it means, I mean, $150,000 a year definitely don't feel like middle class. There we go. All right. I don't feel middle class up unless the government is everything is very expensive. Yeah, everything is more expensive when the government is. Christianity has increased in Israel, diminished in almost the country. That's right. And if you want to see something very interesting, look at the digital religiosity polls in Iran versus what the government releases for census.
The way the system works is that whoever wins the popular vote in the state will get all of that state's electoral votes. The number of electoral votes is largely but not entirely in proportion to its population. A state gets electoral votes based on the number of members of the House of Representatives plus 2 each for the Senate.
Right. This is why they want to count illegal immigrants as on the census, because then you get more electoral votes.
Those electoral votes are then cast in the states, transmitted to Congress, where they are counted.
Most true upper middle class, and still make $200,000 a year, pay taxes.
Of the president.
Yeah.
The announcement of the state of the vote.
What up, Space Cow?
By the president
Couldn't
of the
help
Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected president and vice president of the United States, each for the term beginning on the 20th day of January, 2021.
Can you tell us about how and why the founders created the Electoral College?
I thought Musk could move outside the USA residents, invest in other countries. Why do I want to give him grant money?
Experiments.
Yeah, so Trail, I often think about this, and the only real thing I can come to is why he gets grant money is that we don't have a functioning, like super functional NASA. Right, so we can't put up our spy satellites, our communication satellites, and other types. So that is SpaceX is basically taken as our NASA. 95% of all mass that leaves Earth into outer space on the planet leaves on SpaceX rockets. So that's the only thing that I could really understand on why that would go to. Or also, if the world is actually running out of oil, then we're also going to need mass production electric cars once nuclear gets put into effect. The same thing happened in Canada. 30 million population chose to close to 45 million in 10 years, all imported voters. Yeah, they know what they're doing. I mean, you can see that they're copy pasting country to country. Started in Africa, the experiments. No Republican ever endorsed trickle-down economics, all liberal media bullshit. There you go. Truth. John Tripp. Okay, let's see. I don't want to watch this. Everybody knows how the Electoral College works, right? Where are we at? 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. All right. Bam. Okay. All right, somebody flip a coin. What's the next topic? What's the next topic in line? Ladies and gentlemen, this is huge. It's because any government job automatically gets billed twice as much. Elon actually runs a business and shops around. And his businesses are so much more technologically advanced than most other countries, industries of any other country. So if we lose him to another country, it's like a huge brain drain, and we lose 100,000 jobs easy, plus all the surrounding jobs, supportive jobs that support what SpaceX and Tesla and freaking Boring Company and whatnot do. Have you thought it's next to impossible to put NASA or Wall Street to make a profit? SpaceX already has issues making profit. Understood. But if you look at what's projected, the government wants to put up, or the FAA wants to, FCC, one of the two, give a million permits to put satellites in outer space over the next 10 years. Somebody's got to do that. So it looks like if you're investing for the long term, things will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. It looks like if China loses a little bit more of its manufacturing to America, then we'll also have more industry. And if we get silver carbon batteries, which double the distance for electric cars, 6-minute charging, and we start building those batteries in America, and we get nuclear energy in more places, we'll have cheaper electric, which means electric cars will be more, they'll have more range, there'll be more value, and that will do a lot for reducing carbon emissions in America, getting self-driving cars and whatnot. Epstein. All right, see you tomorrow, Shiraj, brother. Oh, Thursday. There you go. Have a good week or have a good Wednesday. You get to see the Buddy get files over by the Bison Yellowstone. Have you seen Buddy get filed? Oh, Fling. Yeah. We watched it. Yeah, I'm not anti-Elon Musk. I mean, look, that one dude and his brain and his businesses have done a lot. They developed PayPal. That's one of the big, I mean, I don't really like PayPal now, but that inspiration from how that was created and the technology that was created for banking allows us to bank on our phones and whatnot. That was really kick ass. We can now, GPS and SpaceX communication systems, the freaking, what's that stuff called? The internet, space-based internet. Federal Aviation Administration versus Federal Communications. Because I couldn't remember which one. Let me see if I can find it up. SpaceX 1 million permit deal, FCC. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Here you go. Yeah, it was the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, to launch and operate mega constellation of 1 million solar-powered satellites. So that seems to be kick-ass. Right? So this is why I invested in silver, because a lot of silver's got to go into the batteries and the solar panels on these things, and they're never coming back to Earth. So you're never going to get the recycled silver out of that. So you're going to have, you don't get recycled silver. You don't get recycled gold. That stuff goes outer space and it doesn't come back. It burns up on reentry. I'm looking to do some investigative topics with Playgirl magazines. We're losing thousands of our best, brightest, richest every year. It's alarming. Look up the statistics. Rich, you want to protect the money source, convince them to go to Canada, Great Britain. I know, yeah, I'm very familiar. It's not kick ass. It's not kick ass. We need to reinvest in America, and I'm happy that $19 trillion has been reinvested in American manufacturing. That's very, very good. It'll give a lot of people a lot more time to work. Papa Bear. Beer for POTUS. Elon Musk already put a factory in Shanghai, China. Not hiring U.S. citizens, not create jobs for U.S. people. That's one factory. Nuclear energy is amazing. The name scares people. Yeah, Musk is getting out of Tesla, going towards space AI Tesla again. I bought Tesla again. You did? Soros is creating his own world. Well, it looked like he was absolutely trying to. I don't like Elon, but I trust him a little more with rockets than the government. Yeah, right. And he's doing it for so much cheaper. The amount of money that was being washed and laundered through NASA is unbelievable. He's launching these ships for like $100 million, not $1.3 billion per launch. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievably cheaper. The government just wished it would run the DMV and close road for you. Put out 501. I'm going to receive Social Security 25 years. Probably not. Interesting. If Trump won the election, how many illegals voted for him? And so that's one of the things that I've been saying to people. So what I started to think was, if Trump knows this hole is open in election, being able to steal the election, and he did it in 2016. And then the Biden and Kamala administration paid more to whoever can flip it and wackadoo the elections, and they won. And then Trump won it, bought it again. And then it seems like he's trying to make all of these permanent changes, undo a bunch of stuff that's being registered as unconstitutional, and then closing up the back door behind him. That's kind of what it seems like. Retirement age in America is 65. PayPal was great once, very expensive, move money across borders with PayPal, right? Yeah, 65. They keep jacking up the retirement age in Canada. The government keeps dipping in the retirement fund. Yeah, dude, they've robbed you guys. Your retirement fund has absolutely been drained. Retirement age is about 40 for the U.S. military. Yeah, for military. Yep. 62 for later retirement. That's why Canada needs to become America's 51st state. Looks like they're trying to. Social Security appears highest at 70, but there's no set date until work to. Okay, for Social Security, full 100% payout. Canada doesn't want to be a state. It looks like not Augusta. What's it called? Alberta was talking about it. I mean, it's probably just propaganda, freaking wackadoo stuff to make. Do you recall your last unbirthday party? Been a while. What up, Damon? David? Bruce Lee is MAGA? Bruce Lee? We're happy about neighbors, but you have your own country. Thank you. What up, Drong? Probably going to die on the factory floor. Metals are so after the cyclic way, when the market goes down, that's when they usually spike up again, yeah. I know Canada does it. You guys have to abide by the Marxist rulers. Yeah, you guys, dude. You guys have no gold left. All your gold is gone. You guys don't have a gold reserve anymore, apparently. China, what happened to it? Who will pay for the retirement of the illegals? US, yeah, and that's a huge freaking problem. Like, we've already known that Social Security's on shaky grounds, so they bring in 25 million more people. I think what's happened is a bunch of politicians figured a way over the years to rob the hell out of the government, and they don't want to get caught. And they think, hey, if we burn it all down and switch it over to socialism, communism, then it's under a different legal framework, and we can't be charged for past crimes. My dad retired at 55 when I was a kid. It was normal in Canada. Wow. Damn, that must have been nice. New York State will have bandanas been dipped into the retirement fund of the city. Don't remind me about metals. Precious silver lost $1. A precious silver lost $1 an ounce. What up, Fat Dino? Wall Street raising prices, stealing from retirement. That does that too. What's up, Cheryl? Just popped in to say hello. You have to have a good night. Go back. All right, Drong, brother. Thank you for swapping in, brother. U.S. Reserve Gold, yes, are full, yes. Make Israel the 51st state. Brother, it seems like they might do that too. No, I don't think they will. It's had happened to see with Mexico. Happened in Canada. I read that Mexico because it had Mikey. Alberta doesn't have the signing authority to leave Canada, even if they want. The paperwork says otherwise. Unless something drastically happens, it's best for weather profits. Yeah, I agree. If they want to separate. Banking on my 401k and IRA, knowing my luck through revolution will happen at that time. Listen, if we don't fall over to socialism, communism, the stock market will keep going up by 10 to 15% a year. And if you got even a decent amount of money in, you'll be fine. And I don't think the ultra super wealthy. Listen, when they talk about taxing the billionaires, they might name like 3 or 4, and we might know of like 5 or 6. But there's 989 billionaires in America. So there's a lot more people that aren't on social media we don't even know about, and we don't even know how much money they actually have. Like, they're not popular with it. They're just people that own freaking a bunch of stuff. And like, they're the ones that make a lot of the calls. And I don't think they'll let the economy just fall apart just because we're arguing over who gets the freaking pee in what bathroom. Best allies written in history. Which is why I don't understand how we're so far in debt. We're supposed to be at 45% of the world's gold. Wall Street ever leaves New York City, that will be the beginning of the end for New York City. I hope it happens. I think it's happening. I think it's absolutely happening. Did you see that Mondami started doxing a bunch of the ultra wealthy in New York? So he's trying to get them to leave, and they're leaving. It's unbelievable how much capital has left New York City. To have the power to leave Canada, they have election referendums. That's right. My grandpa's retirement Social Security, he was self-employed. He had no company pension. We love Canada. Mike, you just know like your prime minister. Agreed. I'm British Columbia right now. Besides Alberta and Saskatchewan, we're the only provinces that pay our way to get robbed for billions. And I think that's why Alberta is so pissed. You have so many resources that come out of the ground in Alberta, and Ottawa steals all that shit. Even if investors bring it back factories in the U.S., I don't think many Americans would return to factory jobs. Society becomes more prosperous. People tend to avoid. I disagree. I don't think you realize how many young people are here, brother. Think about all the kids graduating high school today. Like they'll be 18, 19, 20 years old when these businesses are opening up and whatnot. And I think people will want the money more than not want the jobs. They're not going to be necessarily like freaking digging in the dirt type jobs. They're going to be factory jobs, and they'll be mostly automated / so it'll be a lot safer, a lot hands off. You're not like talking about like steel mills and whatnot, but I still think people will. I think we've been told that over and over again. You don't want to pick your watermelons. You don't want to pick your strawberries. But I think people will absolutely do that if they want money. I think we've just been told that to like soften us up, to make us more acceptable to migration. Canada will likely rug pull at the current moment. The ballot referendum has the authority to process secession. A lot of us don't like them and didn't vote for me, everybody. Thankfully, I didn't poop hard turbo crap in my pants. Thankfully, you didn't. Yeah, that's always good. Israel has been a welfare client for 70 years. Yep. Jesus. Oh. In 4 months, U.S. has to pay debt trillions of short-term treasury bonds. Yeah. Or, they'll extend them. They'll extend them. They'll extend them and freaking add another percentage point onto the instead of 4%, they'll go to 5% or whatever. Millions of dollars are setting a foundation like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They don't have to report nonprofit money. Right. That's why we've been drained of so much money through nonprofits. Dude, listen, Bill Gates, I want to say Bill Gates retired from Microsoft with $3.3 billion, and he's worth over $100 billion now. He retired with like $3 billion to give away all of his money, and somehow he's got $100 billion now. How does that work? Spoken like someone who's never actually worked in their life. I've done a lot of hard work. Wait, I was a construction worker. I worked in the movie industry for 15 years. I freaking worked at the zoo. I worked at a farm. I picked corn. I picked freaking cantaloupe, stacked it, counted it. I worked quite a bit. Nobody can make us pay. Something like me, someone's running American books and needs to go to jail. I know as Eisenhower was in office, the richest country on earth 10 times over. It is all a poop show. I'll be doing a lot of reading the balloon frame structure and more. I'll consult you when you have some questions. Let me go through the site and back. All right, brother Drawn, let me know if you got any questions, brother. The reason America's $40 trillion in debt is because borrow from ourselves. If you look to this, yeah, and it's all a big loop. Listen, they're all multiplying their money and putting it into a big loop. We've got access to trillions of dollars. Look, we're $40 trillion in debt. In the first year that Trump was in office this time around, he brought $19 trillion into America. Absolutely. There's money out there that's willing to buy and invest in America. So that could be fixed easily. They just don't want to. They don't care. They can make enough money and bring enough money quick to pay off the dividends on these things. Abdullah Hamish Silicalt, messenger of the Antichrist Muhammad Mahdi, appears soon. The Abdullahs kill the Antichrist, shows his face. USA and United as one. Because the economy runs on oil, debt, slavery, war, gold is no longer the standard. And I think that's going to end up changing. I think we're going to, once we start getting more of these, look, what's it called? Rolls-Royce is now making small nuclear reactors, like 500 megawatt nuclear reactors that fit in, and there's another company that we looked at yesterday, Copenhagen Atomics, that's also making a small nuclear reactor. So if we're going to start getting these small nuclear reactors that don't cost $1 billion to build, then we're going to have a lot more availability to oil, and we won't need to, a lot of our electric demand won't come from burning oil, coal, and whatnot. So I think we're going to see a big swing in the next 2 years to atomic nuclear. In British Columbia, we have the best fish and fresh water. My grandfather used to love to go there to go fishing. Mine a boatload of natural resources. Alberta has oil, Saskatchewan has farming. We can separate. David Cardine's wife said the triads killed him because he got too good at kung fu. The police said he died due to auto asphyxiation. I admire and ignore the truth for love. Yeah, autoerotic asphyxiation. My day's going good, Librado. How you doing, brother? That's one of the richest countries in the world. It's all a set up poop show. Blue collar work is the best. I trust tradesmen over. Well, yes, yeah. And I think there are a lot more people that are willing to do it. I think that they just keep saying that propaganda over and over again that Americans won't do this work just so that they can bring in more, import more people because they want the population bigger for what we just saw. They want more people in the House of Representatives and more electoral votes. He has the front line. Oh, absolutely. Insider trading. He's absolutely. Imagine how many billionaires and millionaires don't know about since charity money funds and reporting agencies. Exactly. Right. Exactly. There's 1,000 millionaires made in America every day. Roman entertainment. Israel makes loads of money. What do you mean? $3.8 billion say doesn't pay Israel to touch their military budget. Yeah, absolutely. Did I say that? Yeah, no, they make a bunch of money. Yeah, they're so huge in finance. They're so huge in military armament construction. We do give them money. We do give them money, but they make money. They do a lot. Listen, there's a lot of money that comes out of there. My friend, IH is ridiculous. Appreciate your consistency. Actually find a pattern comforting to listen to with agreement. Prayers. Thank you, brother, sister Cheryl. Thank you. Blessings. Thank you. Remember that $40 trillion is less than 2 years of our GDP, right? I don't think people really understand that either. People don't understand how truly wealthy America is and how much we can still produce. And we've lost like 90% of our manufacturing. But our innovation, our pharmaceuticals, our oil and gas, which was stopped for a long time, like all of that. We're like one of the number one exporters of oil, even though our oil price should be freaking like $1 a gallon or less. Shit, Joe. Province of Canada trade, 03 is North for Alberta. Crack down the national debt to solve permanently in 5 years. I agree. Yes, thorium salt reactors. I don't know which ones the tracker. I don't know which ones Rolls-Royce has. Rolls-Royce nuclear reactor. It's a dictate term. Hamas the real crooks. They have all the oil from the new. Right. They make $500 million a day in oil, and their people are living in crap. Oh, Hamas. I thought you meant Iran. Manufacturing improves U.S. food price safety oversight. Put junk food. Yeah, that's got to stop. Yeah, I would really like to put the hammer to those people. They have oversight. They use our food products. U.S. loaded with oil. Why tap into it when we can get it for cheap? Basically pay upset for. That's a good point. YouTube smartest YouTube on chat on YouTube, brother. Even though I can't read. Thank you. Religion will be the death of this planet. I don't know, brother, or we'll save it. One of the two. We could either save daylight savings time, wait for Mitch McConnell to vote on it. U.S. debt's at like 30 to 5. It's 40 trillion, I believe, but we just got a $19 trillion in investments. Ask Jimmy Neutron. New York City has lost 11 billion in taxes. Yeah, dude. It seems like they're doing it on purpose. My opinion, not citizens can hold public office. By right, in my opinion, not citizens. Non-citizens cannot hold public office. Won't know this is personally doing just people trying to play it. I agree. No, absolutely. Look, non-citizens can't hold president, so why can non-citizens hold anything else? It doesn't make any sense. Why can we import people? They live there for 6 months and then can run for mayor and governor. It's crazy. Take more loads from China, right? Cars went overseas and we got plastic bumpers. Our Democrat Party is going broke. They're $2 million in debt right now, and they're about to take a $50 million loan against their. They're putting their Democrat headquarters up for pawn. Basically, they're using it as collateral to get $50 million to try to win the midterms. American population started to decline. Yeah, looks like it's already starting a little bit. For religion to save planet, every single person will have to be on the same page, same book. It's never going to happen. I agree. Okay, let's see. Small modular reactor, 470 million. Okay, let's see if I can find a video on it. All right, this is Rolls-Royce's YouTube channel. That looks like the freaking 80s.
The Rolls-Royce SMR is the UK's first domestic nuclear technology in more than 20 years, providing a British solution to a global energy dilemma.
Yeah, so
Each small...
So now you know why they made us suffer. Now you know why they made the UK suffer. They could have been using nuclear like this for a long time. They wanted everybody to start dying of heat stroke, killing off a bunch of the elderly from heat-related diseases, and then say, oh, now everybody can buy air conditioning and electricity can be super cheap because we're all going to use, because everybody will vote yes. Yes, get nuclear, get nuclear, get nuclear. Absolutely, because they've suffered long enough. And then in America, the last four, or during the Biden administration, the ending of drilling oil in America and trying to push, and during the Obama administration, trying to push solar, win, and then people suffering and seeing the prices go up. Now nobody will mind signing off. You want cheap gas? You want cheap electric? Sign off one nuclear. Dual citizens should not be allowed to go. Agreed. Where's your loyalty to? Blessed are the young, for they shall inherit the national debt. Bro, I'm pretty for Star Trek prop in that last image. Star Trek. Why America as rich as we are? Because Texas pushed war into Mexico and have selling a gold rush in 1849. Yep, they're go broke. It absolutely seems like that, man. Absolutely seems like that. Well, the problem is, I think what happened with woke got hijacked. Woke got hijacked, and people then, when they considered themselves woke, they considered themselves like they got the information. So they stopped learning above that. And if anybody slipped in some truths, whether they were true or not, they were just believed because they think, no, we're the ones that are keeping our eyes open. But then they stopped. They're like, we know it all now, so we're just party. And it really went the wrong way. It was brilliant. It was brilliant freaking psychological warfare. British spotted up to several states and provinces, some of Ontario. Say there was a Boy Scout who made a small nuclear reactor. Yes, yeah. He ended up getting light level nuclear poisoning. The freaking a nuclear containment crew came in and cleaned all this stuff up. Yeah, if you truly understand the numbers of mind spot and over ridiculous, we should have ever reached the point where China could challenge the U.S. by simply hoarding the money. Yeah, yes. All right, how did we get here? That's what we should be talking about. But whenever you bring anything up, the Democrats should say Trump, and Trump just says Democrats. But look at what actually happened. Look how they forced everything through. They want you to think. I hated Arnold saying about my COVID thing, the unfair American thing. Little says screw your rights. Un-American things. Gotcha. China hoards resources. They hoard power, hold investments over public officials. Yeah, they do the same thing. They do the same thing all around. A person not born in the USA should not be a representative, public office, or senator. I agree. I absolutely agree. Arnold was woke AF for that. Yep, PC, because you couldn't call out bullshit. When PC came up, that's when they went into the phobia things. So anything that they didn't want you talking bad about, or didn't want you to talk about their bad behavior, they said you were phobic or racist or whatever. And then so people started setting up NGOs and whatnot, and you couldn't call them out. They'd be like, they're trying to help this or that. You're phobic, or I've lost a lot of respect for Arnold. Yeah. All right, let's see what happens. Here.
Modular reactor will produce enough stable, affordable, emission-free energy to power 1 million homes for at least 60 years. From a power plant roughly the size of
this
2
one's bigger
football
than that.
pitches.
Okay. 2
Our
football
unique
pitches.
factory-built approach
China's
is the
winning, letting
fastest
the house
and
lose.
cheapest way to get new nuclear
By letting
on the grid,
us lose.
helping to meet the global net
Well,
zero
like
ambitions.
so when things are made in China that are competition to the United States, they will subsidize to make sure they can undercut American manufacturing by usually 30 to 40%. Celebrities should not be able to hold office even if they're born in the United States and use their acting names. They do. They shouldn't be.
Increasing energy security and further reduce reliance on imported hydrocarbons. Rolls-Royce SMR is backed by the UK government, world-class investors, and an international nuclear
thank you,
operator.
Gustav, brother.
Rolls-Royce currently owns 70%, with the rest split between B&F Resources Limited, Constellation Energy, who are the largest operator of nuclear plants in the US, and the Qatar Investment Authority.
Dun, dun, dun,
The
dun.
programme, to the end of 2024, is supported by £210 million of UK government money from UKRI Innovate UK and $280 million of private sector investment. The market opportunity
Despite all the
is very
Chinese
attractive,
turtle
with
economies
real
completely in shambles.
momentum.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, Siamese Stormtrooper brother, or yesterday before, where they maneuvered their economy to be like yen to real estate. So they started getting money from their citizens in advance. So if you want to live in this home, it's going to be $100,000. It'll be in this big ass building, but you have to pay up front. So they started taking everybody's money way before these buildings were even started. And then a lot of them never got finished, to the point where the bunch of people are living in buildings with no water, no electricity, some no walls, some no roofs and whatnot. And now a lot of that money is just gone. Now you've got all these buildings that people can't really live in because they're not like furnished or anything, or even have air conditioning and whatnot. So they completely just drained everybody, and you can't sell them. You already got the money up front. So it's not like someone's going to pay you to move to your house that's not finished, that you've already paid 100% for. So they really did a number on their folks. Has been rigging it for years, paying off officials and all this. Yes, dude. Dude, if you want to look into something interesting, look into billionaire Chinese billionaires and OnlyFans. Look into that. Go down that rabbit hole. They fly OnlyFans models over that aren't doing well on OnlyFans. They fly them over to China, knock them up, send them back to America with a $10,000 a month stipend until the kids are 18 years old. Or when the kid's born. Then they'll fly them back to China, raise the kids in China with an American citizenship for birthrights. Oh, U.S. is not the only superpower. It's not only superpower, it's very super rich. Also, no taxes on tips, overtime, save people a lot of money. I agree. Only President Trump do that as well. Also, I agree. It's definitely helped a lot. China makes sure they win on multiple levels. And we've been so weak. Instead of pushing for America to win. And I blame the Democrats and the Republicans. I'm glad the Republicans have finally changed their way rather than this socialism stuff. Americans is a toxic person that wants to deal with it unless you absolutely have to. It's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. I hate to say it. I said Trump needs to be a lot more radical, less reset, scale back to level. I am. Americans, China wanted them to be, yeah, and they allowed them to get close. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac government holding funds can run for office, but holdings like Wall Street. China's winning because they have less bureaucracy along with much less rich people. They got a lot of rich people. It's almost like the West is trying to keep up. Brother, how did they get that way? They got that way from slave labor, though. So if we were allowed to have slaves, you don't think we'd be even more ahead if we didn't have to pay people a fair wage? Yeah, just because they got slave wages. Welcome to 1984. U.S. enemies have been planning it for decades while Dems and Republicans have been pointing fingers at each other. Yeah, we were worried about stupid shit, fighting over stupid shit. Bill Gates Foundation can run for office. The Bill Gates. The Chinese don't only do that with only fangirls. They do that with girls. Yeah. I'm just saying that there is a big a pipeline, OnlyFans to Chinese billionaire pipeline, like tens of thousands of girls.
Behind the nuclear power ambitions in many countries, driven by energy security and decarbonisation targets. The role of SMRs in particular is of high interest, and we see a large export opportunity in addition to the UK fleet.
So now they'll export
The Rolls-Royce
energy.
SMR technology is based on a low-risk pressurised water reactor design, a reactor type that is already safely operating
Democratic
in
Party,
hundreds of
Republican
reactors
Party,
around the world, including here in the
China's
UK
point because
at
of people who
Sizewell
embrace
B.
minimalist lifestyle.
Our proposition is differentiated
schemers at the top.
as we are controlling the
true.
integrated design of the whole 470 megawatt power plant and enabling a very high level of modularisation. This moves work from site construction into a standardised, controlled factory build with modules then assembled on site. This reduces cost, risk and time to construct and results in a highly competitive, levelised cost of electricity. We have unrivaled knowledge and experience of designing.
So you see that. So now that's happening, and they're not the only one doing modular nuclear. So now we're going to be able to get cheap, inexpensive nuclear energy. And so we know that. We know, if I know this is coming, the government knows. So why aren't we putting more money into fattening up our grid? We outsourced cheap labor to China for decades. Time to shift towards another cheap labor country. Bill Gates. China spends less than a third of what we do on defense, 80% of product. Yep. Come on, Green Party for president. Green Party for president. All right, let's see. Where are we at? Let's go somewhere else here. Let's go to something a little more relaxing. We're at it was 9:45 here, 17 to 10. Okay. Surprise, while Trump was meeting with BB, atomic force microscopes, Juneteenth. Mandami triggers another mass millionaire exodus after dropping insane hit list. Despite warning, what? I read an article about Chinese scientists making designer children DNA and deleting the records. I don't know if it's true or not. Yeah, it may definitely be propaganda, but it could be true. Who knows? Who knows these days? We got stuff better than CRISPR now. I don't like to swear, but I do it all the time because it makes me feel good. Damn, I already screwed over once, but screws me over every day. The system. China, you can have guns. Russian guns are controlled. Guns are controlled around the world. One place truly aren't third world country. The U.S. populations are powerless. Can a mama be transformed if she said, hey? Can a mama? I don't know what that means, my brother. If they use communism to hold the people out. So here's what happens with modern communism. A bunch of super ultra wealthy people that you don't know their names to, our kids are now old enough to now act like they want communism. So they can try to get power over a previously or currently capitalist structure because that they've got that capital. So the only reason I think Democrats were in bed with the communists was because then if they say the America is not America anymore, we're now the communist states of America, that would somehow reduce the debt. But don't you think that then China and all the other countries that would have had debt in America wouldn't come here to get what they could? Like going communist would just make the people at the top very, very rich and everybody below that very poor. Unbelievable. This can happen having built very wrong. Why do people still do it? I don't know, brother. It's important to slow down. When the world stops, you got to keep slow down and say, hey, I don't think thing was ever even moving. Look at Cuba, Russia, China. Those places where our people are powerless. Right. Cuba was run as a capitalist company. The government was a company, an $18 billion corporation that ran the society as socialist. So everybody had to stand in line for bread, whatnot, that was below a certain caste. And then the government, the brothers made, or the Castro family made shit tons of, billions of dollars. And then once it all fell apart, they can just go somewhere else with their money and just leave everybody with their ding-a-lings in their hand. Thank God for the Second Amendment. I don't even own a gun. I like when the government fears its citizens. I agree. The government should fear its citizens. Communists are the sacrifice of many for the survival of the leaders. Right. I think the children haven't been taught this. Funny enough, even Alex Jones was right about a lot of stuff. I agree. I agree. But what I think happened with him, I think you had people slip in absolute insanity, like people that he trusted to give him like deep insider secrets also gave him wackadoo stuff, like just to see if he'd say it on the internet. And sort of felt like, at least. China used to put baby infant girls in orphanages due to the 2-child limit, and they wanted male to continue. Yep, that's right. Yep, the 1-child rule. The 1-child rule. And I heard it got worse than that. I heard that they 86 the babies in the womb. If they were girls. Because girls would have more babies. Some guy comes up and says, how come you're not smoking? I said, I am smoking. On the inside. On the inside. All right, where are we at? Red alert. Uh-oh. Guns recovered. Trump viral lifeguard rescue. Florida puts ex-cop to death for girl's murder. Mitsubishi's rocket factory in Japan? CEOs used to be paid 20 times the average worker. Now it's 450 times. Yep. Yeah, that's also right. That's also so. There's people here in America, in Canada. There's this place called Clone Aid, or at least it was. I don't know what it's called now. But apparently, what you could do is take the cord blood of your baby, the stem cells in the cord blood, and they could have a baby growing side by side with yours. Yours would be growing up at home, and if your baby had any issues, they could use those cells to make livers or kidneys or whatever that you might need put into your child in the future. And there's this guy that's been like trying to cheat death. He's like a millionaire. He like looks like he's 18, but he's like 48 or something. And apparently he wants to clone himself to be able to harvest the organs out of. They used to sell infants in deplorable places. Well, if the U.S. feels like capitalism for the poor and socialism for the rich, yeah. Back in the heyday, you could mail a child through the U.S. postal system. That's happened at least once. The NWE 7 NWO war back in the 1990s, bro. I remember that. Was he a wrestler? Socialism is communism with lipstick. Yeah, it's soft communism. They want to warm you up to it. No, it's not that bad. It's just free healthcare. Right. Yeah. The people with all the money don't want to do the right thing because of the lack of revenue. Listen, there's enough money in American economy for everybody to be rich. Like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year rich. Well, we make so much money because you have to understand how it spends around. A lot of people aren't savers, they're spenders. So if you have money, if you when they were talking about universal what's it called, basic income, if you gave everybody that, like every household $100,000, they would spend it, so the companies would make a shit ton of that money, and then a lot of that would be paid into taxes. The taxes would go up, so the government would be able to collect a lot of that to give it back to the people, and then it would just rotate around. And that's what they were like. But then they were like, well, hey, let's just let us run the entire government. Well, I'm in a union that feels like socialism. I hated it when I was younger, but now I'm older, tend to like the union. Yeah, I like the union. I worked for IATSE, in the movie industry here. And it was a good union. It was a good union. They trained you. They did, you could constantly switch jobs, like what type of job you did in the industry. It was good. 1913, you can send babies in the post. You can still get chicks from the mail. You can still get chick. Yes, you can. Yep. Baby chicks. The only difference from media shines a light on everything here. Everything is bad, covered up China and Russia. Yep. Hulk Hogan's always talking about the New World Order or the WWE days. What up, B2B? Bro, crazy shit that happened. What happened, B2B? What happened? All right, let's find something fun to watch. Liberal hive mind. The end of New York City. What do tonsils do anyway? Can you make some tea right now? I could. I have tea leaves, a tea ball, and I have hot water. Man, my damn homie I'm letting stay here got robbed by some hood rat chick. Jeez, dude. I worked this local millionaire doing construction. He could go from negotiating me down as much as he could to picking pennies up off the ground. Dude, people like that, people that make a lot of money, make it often because they're very good at negotiating and they don't let go of their money. People become rich by not spending their money. It's a mindset. People think money is for spending. But the problem is you have to get to that point where the money that you get for spending is off of your assets. So your asset level doesn't drop. The value of your assets goes up and you get dividends off that. But people just think, oh, paycheck, spend it all. That's our fault for educating kids that way. There's a guy from New York who goes around places people normally wouldn't visit. He went to Russia, tried to frame him for drug use. On YouTube. Billy Bob, where do I sign up? It took all his weed money, strap electronics. I'm a UPS driver. The only post office I can send them to is a guy like a Monopoly. He's hunting for her now, bro. He'll smoke. You hang out with some crazy people, B2B. Does anyone remember Brother Love, the wrestler? Brother Love done. Oh yes, yeah. Brother Love. The Macho Man Randy Savage. Macho Man. Randy Love. Oh, Randy Love was a football player. All right, there we go. There we go. That freaking like 900 over 20 blood pressure, red face. Yeah, boy. The post office isn't meant to make money. Isn't meant to make money, so I'm down for it. Post office is actually supposed to make zero money. It's supposed to, right? Right. It's supposed to only charge for what it costs to work. I'm glad she didn't take any money. You'd be right next to him, brother. Brother Love. For all the countries work for their own self-interest, but America had propaganda, a great propaganda for years, pretty much over. Miss Elizabeth, I remember that. I remember when he accidentally hit Randy Savage, or Macho Man Randy Savage, through, I think it was Hulk Hogan into the corner, into the turnbuckle, but Elizabeth was standing on the other side of the ropes and it knocked her off onto the ground. I remember this stuff, boy. The house is mine. She only stole shit out of his bedroom. Oh, out of your house, but his bedroom. Yeah, you guys are crazy. I don't deal with that bullshit. All right, let's see. Macho Man Randy Savage. Bam. Yeah. Yeah, man. Man, that guy got old. We're all going to get old eventually. Remember Andre the Giant? He was partially deaf? I didn't know that. Andre the Giant. Not Play the Giant. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. I told him I ain't like her coming over, bro, but I ain't trying to wiener block him. I know what you mean, dude, but fuck, I mean, she's a hood rat. Why? I mean, that's when you're supposed to absolutely wiener block. They say go to the freaking suburbs and fish one out. The eighth wonder of the world. Okay. No, he was not deaf. He said he had normal hearing throughout his life. Now that's AI. Pituitary horror, but not hearing loss. He suffered joint pain due to his condition, but his hearing remained unaffected. Snap into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. Sorry. I'm really getting freaking. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Snap into a. All right. Let's see. Let's wind it down. Okay. Boom. 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 Okay, that's fine. What's a soy boy? Big mistake. Iran tried to shoot down Air Force One. Starting the largest helicopter ever built. TikToker who exposed gangs sentenced to life in prison.
This TikToker just got sentenced to life in prison after
sabbatical. Let's see. Sabbatical Tommy? Need to wiener block Jim Baker and pastors for the church secretaries. Yep. This guy. What am I supposed to be looking up? He got arrested in China. Is he still in jail? Funny note, I slept on my leg raw, got to take piss, fell over, fucked my flat screen all up. Good times. Sabbatical. Yeah, I've never seen this guy yet. All right, we'll watch. We're gonna watch this real quick.
Building his whole career around exposing
Russia.
gang crime.
He got him out.
As
They
it
put him
turns
through
out,
hell.
he
All right,
wasn't
we'll
just
watch it. We'll
reporting
check
on
it
the
out.
game crime. He was in it. And what happened is that his crew ended up blowing up the wrong house.
These 3 men are now sentenced to prison for the bombing in Tumba. A mother lost both her legs and her 4-year-old daughter was seriously injured when a hand grenade was thrown into their bedroom in April of last year. The attack was actually aimed at a neighbor who had a drug debt, according to the prosecutor.
That is definitely not something you hear from a TikToker every day, but this
Jesus.
one is out of Sweden. And if you're not from Sweden, this might come
We'll
as
see,
a
I guess.
massive
We'll see it after
surprise
this.
to you. Because when you think gang violence and grenades, it's safe to say that Sweden probably isn't the first place that comes to mind. Well, unfortunately, it seems like this has been a huge ongoing problem there for years now. And we'll circle back to that, but for now, meet Joseph Said, who's 30 years old, and he ran a TikTok account called Foxy Spot. He had a whole
no, not generally, no. There's some outliers, but yeah, they put their bodies through a lot, not just the wrestling part of it, but the partying and the freaking steroids.
bunch of social media profiles, but a bunch of them have been deleted. But he built an audience by covering criminal gangs, which is basically just true crime commentary, but hyper local, and specifically about the gang wars that are happening in his own country. And he positioned himself kind of as the guy who knew what was going on behind the headlines. Except, as it turns out, he didn't just know what was going on, he was apparently a part of it. So prosecutors say that Joseph wasn't just reporting on the criminal underworld from the outside looking in. He was embedded in it. And that's about to become extremely relevant. So according to prosecutors, this all traces back to an illegal deal that fell through. And the people on the buying end of that deal, I guess, were going to be punished for it. And by punished, I mean someone in Joseph's group decided the appropriate response to this bad illegal deal was a hand grenade. Yeah, that's totally not escalating things whatsoever. So the plan, as the prosecutors laid out, was to hit a house belonging to the people who'd been fined over the failed deal. And someone was apparently tasked with actually carrying out the attack. And that's where everything went sideways, because their target ended up being the wrong house, because the grenade was apparently thrown at a home where a mother and her young daughter were sleeping, not the people they were intending to hit, just the neighboring house. And the explosion was devastating. The mother's injuries were so severe that she ultimately lost both of her legs, and her daughter was also severely hurt.
I woke up to a bang, and then I got
I'm
smoke
saying
from
they're
the
not
fire
healthy.
into the vent leading to the bedroom. So I turn on the light and get up, and here the neighbor went over to check what it was and such, and I saw the fire truck. It's terrible that this happens in this calm, nice area where I've lived for 41 years. It feels very strange. The neighbor across saw this then. She got the smoke in her place, so she ran over and helped with the child there, and she told me this morning.
It seems to be a woman and her daughter who have been affected.
What are your thoughts about it? It's terrible that it happens, and maybe there are innocent people too. I think that's the worst part.
And just to be clear on their mistake as well, and just how careless all of this wasn't even a mix-up between like two different neighborhoods or some address typo or something like that. No, it was the house right next door to the one they were trying to hit. So according to court documents, the day after the explosion, Joseph Said, the TikToker who covers the criminal gangs, sent a message asking essentially how the attack could have possibly hit the right house. And that message ends up being a pretty big deal for the case, because it basically, confirmed in his own words that he knew about the operation and he expected a specific outcome that didn't happen. That was essentially the detail investigators needed so they could stop speculating of, maybe he was involved. So yeah, because of that message, essentially prosecutors knew exactly what that was supposed to be. But to make things even worse, this wasn't even the only attack connected to him either, because authorities also tied Joseph to a separate attack etc., which also factored into his whole overall sentencing. So again, the dude who covers crime and criminal networks is actually a part of one and doing the crime himself. So I guess he really did have authority on what he was talking about on his channels. But regardless, once everything went to trial, it came out that Joseph hadn't actually thrown the grenade himself. He was out.
Is it okay to be a grown-ass man enjoy it? Yeah, absolutely you can enjoy ABBA. RUC criminals are not careful, right? Weird. And I wonder, I would like to see the guy.
The country when the attack
when you
happened.
double check the house number and whatever
against him was built around him being the one who ordered it. And for organizing that attack, combined with the Cetra case, he was sentenced to life in prison. And on top of that, he was not the only one facing consequences in total, because 5 men were sentenced in connection to all these attacks as well. So you have Philip Persson, who was 34. He was the guy who actually threw the grenade into the apartment, and he ended up being the one who confessed to it. He got 13 years and 10 months for 4 counts of attempting to take someone's life, alongside of serious public destruction and serious unlawful threats charges. Then you have Jalal Issa, also 30. He was the one who recruited Persson for the job. He drove him to and from the location and booked and paid for his taxi. He received 11 years and 10 months for aiding and abetting serious public destruction and serious unlawful threats. Then you had a 16-year-old boy who was also convicted of walking Persson through how to actually use the grenade. So you have a 16-year-old teaching a 34-year-old man how to throw a nade.
Nice.
Apparently he did all this over a video call because he was already serving his sentence in a closed youth care facility for a separate bombing. Dude. And that apparently only resulted an extra 4 months on top of his sentence.
Yeah, that's
so, I mean, that is
soft
just
on crime
crazy
bullshit.
the amount of privilege you get for just being a minor, even though you're teaching other people how to throw
This is Sweden, I think he said. Switzerland.
grenades into homes. Okay, but on top of those 4, a man who was already serving time for an unrelated weapons offense was also convicted of handing over the grenade that ended up being used in this attack. So he got an additional 1 year and 4 months for all that. And then finally, there was one other person connected to the case, separate from those 5. He was acquitted entirely on the conspiracy and accessory charges against him. And I guess since Joseph had already reportedly been out of the country for a stretch before all this caught up with him, he was finally arrested back in December after spending time abroad. And as for the family who actually lived through this, their lawyer gave a statement afterwards saying, according to him, the family had hoped for harsher punishments across the board, ideally with everyone involved being convicted rather than just some of them.
Roddy Piper.
He said that they were largely satisfied with how the case turned out. Still, though, I mean, satisfied or not, that does not undo what happened.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is an awful tragedy.
Yeah, they're standard prisons. Yeah, and also if you escape, you don't get a charge for escaping because it's human nature to want to be free. So there's no escape charge for escaping. But if you damage any property or hurt or kill anybody during your escape attempt or whatever, then you obviously get charged with that stuff. But yeah, because it's human nature to want to be free, attempting to escape prison there is not illegal. Truth is, you can do F all about you don't have credit. I remember walking into a car dealership. I couldn't have a car on the lot. Just had to sort of pay for it. That's all. I had a new credit card. I mean, it depends where you're at, dude. I mean, if your credit's absolute shit, like here in Atlanta, you can get one with freaking like 580 credit. Like you've already had cars repoed and whatnot. You can still, I mean, if you have a job, smart idea. Let's make prison comfortable. Why try to deter criminal activity? They're saying
just minding your own business in a house and then a grenade comes through. Like that is not.
We've been propagandized to feel sorry for the criminal for like, oh, they needed food. Trump won't let them have freaking EBT, so they got, rather than, well, what about the people they hurt? Well, he wouldn't have hurt those people if Trump would have given him his, and that's how they freaking wound it up in the past freaking 10 years. Yeah, they were talking about a different YouTuber. They were talking about a different YouTuber. He wanted me to watch the other thing, but I watched this. Escape from Alcatraz would be a great wrestling venue. Yeah, Alcatraz would be great. Great wrestling venue. Talking about the 90s. Oh, yeah, totally different time.
Something that you would expect in a first world country. But the attorney also made a point of noting that the family is still dealing with lasting physical and psychological trauma from all this, which obviously makes a whole lot of sense. But apparently Sweden has been genuinely dealing with a huge wave of grenade and explosive related incidents since around 2018, and it's hit both low income and wealthier neighborhoods. And apparently a lot of the grenades that are being used in these attacks, including the specific model involved in the chunk of these cases, trace back to leftover stock from the Yugoslav wars back in the 90s.
They ain't there for singing too loudly in church.
Apparently been circulating through the black markets for a few decades now. So unfortunately, when you just put this specific case into this broader context, it stops being some isolated freak event and just another incident that happened in a pattern of similar incidents. But going back to the actual point of this video, the part that makes it all stand out from normal gang violence is obviously the fact that Joseph was doing all of this while running a platform built around covering this exact world. Because it's one thing to just build a following reporting on gang conflicts that you're watching from the outside.
You have no job,
and it's completely different. You're allegedly helping orchestrate the next chapter of that same conflict while your followers are watching a TikTok of you talking about the last thing that happened. I mean, this is just crazy. And I guess to be fair, like, we don't know exactly how much of his content overlapped with his alleged activity because all of his stuff seems to be wiped, at least from what I can tell. So I don't know if this is a way for him to make money or if this was used to send messages to rival gangs or something like that. That's not something that's been confirmed, so I'm not going to speculate.
So that dude was probably making gang propaganda. Like there's other gangsters in that area, rival gangs, watching his stuff.
Beyond what's actually been reported. I'm just discussing on how insane this whole situation is. But I guess that's how a TikToker ended up getting life in prison. So if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like, enjoy the video. And I would recommend checking out this deep dive because this is also
this is the guy that got arrested in Russia. I gotta find. Did he have a video about it? Romania. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, 2024. Had skid marks in my garments today. Yeah. Well, you got to clean that stuff up, brother. I don't know how people don't have a job. I had a job my entire life. A lot, man. I mean, listen, a lot of people can get jobs. They can't get the jobs they want. Anders Breivik. Yep. Anders Breivik. I absolutely remember that name. Absolutely. Yep. He's the guy that like sniped off a bunch of kids. Lots of hip hop has heavy ties to crypto, Coinbase investments, and housing. And a lot of other crime. Yeah, Russian prisons, no joke. Let's see. Near the Chinese border. Okay, here it is. We found it.
Forget that. I don't know how to make videos like that. Let me just hold the camera. Hey. This is a video about how I was arrested in Russia.
Look up the kid from Australia
and then
shot
sent
a bunch
to prison
of people years ago
on a fake crime. This is not a video that I wanted to make. It's not the kind of video I ever want to make. I try to avoid politics on this channel and focus on the people of different countries. But this time, the politics came to me. This ended up being the most frightening experience of my entire life. This happened in a region of Russia
criminal records
called the Jewish Oblast, a region that ironically has almost no Jewish people. But given the history, I wanted to go there and explore. I'll tell this story in two parts, in two different videos. This video will be the vlog that I was trying to make. It's all the events that led up to my arrest. And in the next video, we'll cover the nightmare that happened afterward. So with that said,
all right, let's watch the second video.
I am in a very strange place that I just arrived in. This is what the Soviet Union created. Because there's some barely cooked meat inside.
Hospitality jobs don't just pay enough to get a good credit score plus inflation. Prices out unpaid women. Democrats love mass shootings. They can't hide their glee. And I tell you what, I think it's become pretty obvious that when, and especially how the media frames it, like how they absolutely steer you away in the first couple lines of the reporting away from what's really going on with the people and why. Bro, this guy went and chilled with the Taliban, all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, you ain't gonna do good. You ain't gonna do good in Russia if you've been hanging out with Taliban and shit. I'm convinced this guy's espionage suspicious. Well, I mean, you have to be of some sort. That's probably why he got yanked up in Russia. But let's see. Let's see if we can get to that next video. Where is it? 213. Let's see if we can find 214. Let's see if we can find 214. Oh, they're not here. They're not here. It goes from 212 to 215. Yeah, this says it's 213, video 213, and there's no 214 or 215. It goes from, here's 215 right here. Interesting. I wonder if that had to come down. So were the Russians and the Chinese? Yeah. Republicans love sex scandals, sells abuse, looks at the Jeffrey Epstein like a Riley murder by a Venezuelan. This one guy, it's the guy who went bald and bankrupt. No. I mean, the new one? I don't know. Look at it. I have a clue to watch videos now and again. Sabbatical's a very smart guy. I saw his videos in Morocco speaking about our local dialect. Oh, cool. It's pretty talented. That means he's probably trained by the CIA. Yeah. And how do you get that intelligent? Bald and bankrupt. We watch so much. I got to be up to the membership. I wonder if it's members only. Oh, maybe. Oh, on his channel. Yeah, China's most excuse to most people: drug traffickers, pedos, murderers, but also business fraud, government corruption. For example, people who made shit baby formula.
And it'd be over, they said. So I was brought to, which is about $5. I was probably going to be detained.
Why is this right on the border with China? I can literally feel the ash going down my throat.
Yeah, and he's speaking. I ain't watched Bald and Bankrupt in a while. I've only watched one of his videos on stream. He went past these farms. We'll do a sabbatical.
That is where my footage ended. Everything after this, from that day, was deleted. Eventually, we reached a lookout point for China, which is all I wanted to see. You could also see a bridge connecting Russia to China's Heilongjiang province. There's nothing secret about this bridge. Russia proudly shows it off on national news. And then almost immediately, I was approached by 3 Russian border police officers. I knew almost immediately that this was bad, and I was probably going to be detained. Honestly, after the run-in with the police in the first town, this could have happened anywhere. A suspicious American was now in the Russian system, after all. But this is where it ended up happening. Russia has many laws that a foreigner would never be aware of. For example, in many parts of the country, foreigners cannot be within 20 kilometers of the border. One of the officers, who spoke strangely good English, explained that it was illegal for me to be there without a permit. He also said, "Don't worry, this is not a serious crime. It carries a maximum penalty of 500 rubles, which is about $5. This is important, so remember it for later." They seemed to understand that I was just a vlogger, but one had a body cam, and there was no way that they could just let a suspicious American walk away. So I was driven all the way back to a border police office in Leninskoye, the town I had just been in. At first, I was told that it wasn't a big deal, I would just pay the fine, and that'd be it. Don't worry, they said.
Don't
But then
worry, my friend.
I was told that
Don't
because I
worry.
didn't have my passport, I'd have to stay overnight in the town. Just overnight. And then I'd get my passport the next day, and it'd be over, they said. So I was brought to the local police station in Leninskoye and led inside to an extremely small jail cell that had nothing but a mat and a dirty blanket and pillow. I was
People
obviously
in
worried
China,
at this point.
After all,
I'd never been to jail
protein
before.
their baby for it. People
But I
were
thought
executed.
if they had told the truth,
Oopsie.
then it was no big deal. I'd just spend the night in the jail and leave the next day. Maybe they were telling the truth. I'll never know. But then the FSB, the modern-day KGB, showed up. And this was where the real nightmare began.
Damn it! They don't have the next frickin' Jamulator. Yeah, maybe it's members only. Yeah, that's a good way to make someone buy membership. Yep, definitely a good way to make someone buy a membership. Let's see. All right, let's close some of this stuff down. Burp. Late night. The Jordan Report. Uh-oh. That's an hour. We ain't watching that. Let's see. Anyone with room temperature IQ never buy any edible products in China. Dude, you ever seen what they do because they're low in cooking oil for all those people? So they recycle the cooking oil by siphoning it off the top of the sewer. They're called it's called sewer gutter oil. Gutter oil. Yeah. He's still talking. He's still doing interviews and whatnot. He's not back in America. I don't think anyone's given him a pass yet. I heard some squeaks and squeaks and squawks about him possibly getting a pardon at the end of Trump's presidency. I think maybe that's why they want to get Trump out before he gets to the end of his presidency. If the Democrats win, and then they get enough people in the House and Senate, then they can say do what they did last time. They can try to kick him out of office. And I guess if you get kicked out of office, you can't give people pardons. We'll see. We'll see. Tune in. Tune in next time. Tune in next election. All right. Where was I? Boom, boom, boom. I could only think. Yeah, the president could give. So the only person that can give federal pardons is the president, and then governors and stuff can give state pardons, and then yep. I'm sure Snowden is fluent in Russian by now, probably. No, that ain't happening. They're so broke. They're getting a $50 million loan using their DNC headquarters as collateral. They're in debt $2 million, and the Trump MAGA RNC has over $1 billion in war chest for just the midterms. So they don't have and the whales that used to donate to the DNC, the Democrat Party, aren't donating because they're pissed off with how the money was spent during the Kamala campaign. They spent almost $2 million, over $2 billion in 100 days. Yeah, and now 77% of independents polled aren't happy with the way the Democrat Party's going with socialism / communism. Snowden has a fine-ass woman. He had to leave. Sure, it was tough. Think it wasn't weird. Looked up anyway. They put him through scare of a lifetime. They claimed he had a false positive last case, finally out of Russia. 13 days in prison. I suppose the FDA had the ability to shoot people. What? I suppose if the FDA had the ability to shot people on the cut corners, and the corners would be less. Yeah, well, yeah, you would think. Less corners would be cut. The Dems have a far reach wide the Senate, almost damn near impossible. Yeah, and 4 of the 5 states that they need to win, 4 of them Trump won in double digits in 2024, and the other one is Maine, which they just had Graham Plattner with his Nazi tattoo, women beaten, and rape allegations and whatnot. So he had to step down, right? And the DNC, it's all going wackadoodle. Can't remember because they're off their rocker. Ever since USAID has got right, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that they were getting kickbacks from they were working with NGOs, getting them a lot of taxpayer money, and then the NGOs were sponsoring Democrat hopefuls. I'm sure none of that $2 billion was to pay for fake protesters. It could be that federal pardon for the crime the court was not interested in pursuing, but that FBI collateral damage to my livelihood. This is really cool edits I have my laptop. How do I text to speech? You can't do text to speech. I'm not on the phone. That's only when I'm on my phone. Okay, what was I just looking for? Let's see if I can find it. Ah, it's not what I wanted. Let's see if I can find this. Stop right now. I think this is the same thing. I think extremism on both sides is pretty unsustainable in bad faith. Yeah. But I mean the thing is with the middle of the road folks, the moderates, there's so many registered Democrat in Pennsylvania. Democrats had 1 million more people registered, 1 million more voters registered. They had 1 million registered voter lead on Republicans in 2 years. That's come down to a 50,000 voter lead. So more than 940,000 Democrats switched to Republican. Just Pennsylvania. But they don't talk about this on the mainstream media because they want to keep saying, we're going to beat Trump. We're going to beat Trump. But now 55% of Democrat voters think that Democrats polled think that Democrats are too liberal. And now there's liberal Republicans. A lot of the middle of the road liberals and independents, that includes the people that left the Democratic Party to become independent. They are 77% of them aren't. They don't think Democrats are moving in the right. So it looks like millions of people are changing their course. Why do you think that would make one currency money to fight, deliver, and exchange? Why? I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a digital dollar that can be transferred around the world freely with no fees. Dems found a loophole. Now they pose Republicans only after being elected. They show their true colors. Well, now you have people, you have old Democrat like media heads that are now saying maybe we shouldn't vote blue no matter who, and that's crazy. I mean, ever since I was young, these people were talking, we've always got to beat the Republicans. We got to beat the Republicans. Now they're saying maybe we don't. Both establishment Dems and Republicans are going to get wrecked. Yeah, right. A lot of establishment Republicans have already been booted out in their primaries and everything. So now you've got a whole fresh new set of Republicans, and now the Republicans are more liberal now that they've taken on a lot of the MAGA agenda, which a lot of was old school Democrat agenda: strong borders, freedom of speech, common sense gun laws. All that came over to the Republican side, and the Democrats completely went left. Few races, 2 Dems are running against each other. Funding Antifa protesters, Kamala spending $1 billion. Of course they're broke, right? Hunter Biden got several million defamation, should several get million for defamation against me. They did not switch Republicans, they switched to independents. Who? Well, so okay, whatever they switched to, but why did they leave the Democrat? So here, the point was, Democrats only have a 50,000 registered voter lead on the Republicans now. They don't have 1 million. That's the point that I was trying to get at. Happy poop. Thank you, B2B. Bam, brother. Throw it a poop. Do not believe mainstream media. There'll never be a giant. But yeah, well, they're not. They're actually, and they're not even saying that now.
That's the interesting thing. Democrats did lose the House in 22, but it was only a few seats, and they actually gained a Senate seat, and that's what Republicans are hoping to do some version of, ironically enough, this year. And Republicans think that their one chance is the image of the Democratic Party. We've been seeing it in the primary season.
This is
Socialists
NBC.
winning Democratic primaries, candidates from the far left. And look at this here. Among Democrats, this is that Fox poll, a majority have a favorable view of socialism. Step outside the Democratic Party, it's a totally different world. Look at independence, socialism, deeply unpopular.
So that's why all of the ex-Democrats that became independents are 77% of them are saying it's because they're going too socialist.
They're there. So is that a vulnerability for Democrats that would keep them from capitalizing on Trump's obvious weaknesses here? Look more specifically.
It's like that's like 6 cents. No, I need to help get my text-to-speech on my laptop. Oh, well, I can't help you right this second, but if you join the Discord, I'll help you, brother. Have the Democrats gone right? Brother, what you need to do on your laptop is go to speechchat.com. Speechchat.com. Log in with your YouTube account, and it'll just start reading off your text. It's that easy. Just open up speechchat.com when you're streaming.
At the two chambers
there
here,
you go, brother. Now you're
this,
thinking.
if you're a Democrat, this is the particularly tough one. They need a net gain of 4 seats to get control of the Senate. Take a look at the map here. How would they get 4? 4 is their target number. There's first thing, they can't lose ground. Georgia, New Hampshire, Michigan, Democratic seats. Big primary coming up in Michigan in a few weeks. There, they could have general election implications. Democrats have to win those just to not lose ground. Then the 2 Republican seats they think they have the best shot at would be Susan Collins in Maine. Democrats have a new candidate there now. And in North Carolina, where Democrats have nominated the former governor there, it's a close state in 24. If they do that, they still need 2 more. And where could they get those 2? This is where it gets real tough for them. Look at this. These are the 4 they talk about. Alaska, Iowa, Ohio, Texas. And look at this, Kristen. They were all not just Trump states, double-digit Trump states. Democrats would need at least 2 of those to get the Senate. House.
Boy. So we got to talk about the Democrat
Dems are
Party,
corporate and support
which
Israel
is
won't
allegedly
work against
broke.
Right. And the Republicans are now, which is very odd. The Republicans, this new wave of Republican Party has gone more towards protections, low, and always have been lower taxes and smaller government. And I think a lot more people just think they went way too far. They went way too far. Many Democrats left, no party now. Yeah. Rich, you need to post a PayPal or something if it's somebody. Yeah, it's in there. It's in there, brother. It's in my bio. Yeah, it's in there too. Yeah. It's 110th grade at Cash App. It's a $sign 110th grade Cash App. It's all, I think it's all in my but yeah, if I want to send me somebody, help my brother out. Thank you, brother. Yeah, they do take
right, and that's not an exaggeration.
55%.
Like they're actually broke, right? Like they owe money due to the fact that they do not have the ability to raise money anymore as an organization, right? We're talking about the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, which is supposed to be responsible for running the Democrat Party, the fundraising for Democrat Party, the establishment arm of the Democrat Party. Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy right here. The DNC leader threw his phone at one of the DNC workers because like he was so pissed off about how little money that they had, and I guess she was asking him about something to do with like how are we going to raise money. He got flipped out and threw his phone at her. He said I didn't really throw it at her. I kind of just tossed it on the table with excitement. Former Democrats don't know the party didn't help them. Well, after so many decades, you realize, okay, well, and when Trump shut the border down in 45 seconds, like, and the Democrat leadership during Biden-Harris kept saying they're mass migrants. We can't help. We can't stop them at the border. They just keep coming. And then, yeah, so that showed how weak they were. Like, if you wanted to enforce the law, and Trump showed that. So people that didn't like Trump still like that. So even not Trump, people that don't like Trump still like the Republicans more than the Democrats. Democrats that didn't like Trump are happy to vote for a Republican in 28.
They are doing so badly right now when it comes to their ability to raise money that apparently they had to put up their headquarters as loan collateral,
Republicans
right?
like Massey are popular, but fake
going
American.
bankrupt in order to stay
First Republic,
afloat.
fake American.
And,
Yeah,
some
I
people
agree. Yeah,
are
they call
taking
them rhinos. Yeah.
a victory lap over the Democrats being unable to raise money due to the fact that when they raised so much money in 2024 for Kamala Harris to try to become president, they blew it on the dumbest things possible, like Al Sharpton and Oprah Winfrey and Roland Martin.
I'm sorry, I gotta take some credit here. The fact that I was
So
able to
this lady-
expose a celebrity payment.
So Lindy Lee, she ran the Kamala Harris campaign. She ran the Kamala Harris campaign, and after what she experienced in that, she left the party.
In the 2024 election, it really shook big donors. It really did. I mean, I remember in the aftermath, people were freaking out about what I was saying, about how they were spending millions of dollars on the production companies of people like Beyonce and Cardi B and all of that. Big donors were absolutely infuriated that their hard-earned money was going towards Ritz-Carlton evenings, it was going to Gulfstreams, rather than paying for the GOTV and the grunt work needed to win elections. And that is why they're having such a hard time bringing big donors to the table.
Loser alert.
A lot of this is still the reverberation of the 2024 election.
Yeah, he's got
Why should the DNC be trusted with anything again if they still have not answered any of my questions regarding the $2 billion that they wasted in 7 weeks in 2024? $2 billion, $1.5 billion for the Harris campaign, and then another $1 billion for Future Forward, which was the affiliated super PAC. No questions have been answered. And they released a stupid autopsy that turned out to be riddled with errors and misjudgments. No, obviously, they all heard my questions and complaints. No one has said, we're sorry, we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have spent $600,000 slapping Kamala Harris's mug on the Las Vegas Sphere. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
$600,000 to put Kamala Harris's face on the Sphere. I think the DNC got denied a loan or something. They had to put their DNC headquarters up as collateral for a $50 million loan. Yeah, if they don't have somebody big like freaking like the old lefty Meta Zuckerberg gave him $500 million before, and now he's not giving them anything. Congress's approval rating is 15%. No one is going rate. Yeah, but if these people are still registering to vote, they're still registering. Like, it's not Democrats that just got pissed and then didn't register. There's lots of new registrations all over the place, and people that register usually register because they're going to vote.
Maybe that was just a vanity project. And not to mention the fact that she spent $60,000 fixing her hair for her Vogue cover. So, those things add up. Or like $100,000 for the cardboard setup for Call Her Daddy. Like, those things are essentially burning donor money. And then you wonder why donors in 2026 don't want to give. It's because they've seen what happened.
Yeah, they got pissed.
So now the Democratic Party is relying on small dollar donors.
But spend the pace smoke on travel bus.
That can only go so far. So it's just a very dicey situation for them. And I have to say, I'm not that sad about it.
Yeah. So you seen that, you heard that. Apparently, tensions are spilling over at the DNC, as reportedly you have the Democratic National Committee chairman throwing his phone at one of the aides as the DNC is so broke they're putting up their headquarters.
Jonah, I think what we've gotten to as the point, we understand that everybody's going to take money, but what do we get for that money, right? And I think that's why we're not Democrats anymore. Like, it's like, yes, like Biden took money, Hunter Biden took money, the Biden family, the Harris family, Kamala Harris lost. She was $27 million in debt, and then she bought an $8 million home. How did she afford that? So the people in power are going to take money, but are they going to take money and raise our taxes? Are they going to take money and open the border? Or are they going to take money and close the border, take money and close the taxes? So I think being alive long enough, we realize they always take money. Trump takes most the blame, but blames the Democrats. Well, I mean, you have to blame the Democrats right now? Absolutely. Especially they spent what you say, and the woman that we just saw was the woman that ran Kamala Harris's campaign, and she said that they spent over $2 billion in 7 weeks, 600,000. So I that's not stuff that helps you get elected. So it's just burnt money. Maybe money is toxic, and I don't want to vote for anyone getting big donations from anyone. Trump makes money innocently and gives it back to the kid. I don't think that at all. I just think that people understand that politicians rob us, but what do we get for it? 7 weeks, over $2.5 billion. Yeah, Trump is president. I understand that, Jonah. I don't understand what you're taking, what you're saying. You don't understand. You don't understand that every politician that we've had takes a bunch of freaking money. We understand that. You don't think all of our presidents do. So if we're going to get robbed, which one of the people that are going to rob us are going to give us the most help? Like Trump, for instance, a lot of the reasons there's no Democrats left is because the last Democrat opened the border, and at least Trump closed the border, so at least our safety is paramount. Yeah, $2 billion in 7 weeks. Governor Brian Kemp spent a lot of money traveling with his campaign and did nothing to cut constituents off from contacting him. Oh, no, it's not fraud. But what do we get from Trump's billions he's making? Well, so he's making billions because he's very, very wealthy, and he's a very, very astute businessman. What do we get? We get a closed border. We get no women or no men in women's sports. We get lower taxes. We get a better ability to have a better future. That's what up, Robert? Trump closed the border. Why? Yeah, right. I think that's why most Democrats that voted for him. I just died on my game because I had snapped down my phone sideways. I understand cults are okay with giving their money to common leaders. Everyone else, I just don't think you know what you're talking about. What up, Dorsheen, brother? Hi, man. Congress is less popular than the British before the War of Independence. Yeah, it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see how bad it's going.
Orders as loan collateral, aka
well, hey brother, if it's only 0.5% trans, why was it involved in our politics at all? Why was so much political money spent on it? That's what I want to know. I didn't care about that. I didn't care about anything. Why were they about to change all kinds of laws and rules and everything over it? I don't get it. Right, 0.5% trans. Why was our government talking about it? Doesn't make any sense to me either. You're almost there, Jonah. Keep going, brother.
They're so broke, they're like, hey, you know what? We got to borrow against our headquarters, right? This building, right? In order to survive, right? Which means that if they can't raise money,
that's
soon,
insane, bro.
Right? They can't get out of this financial hole.
They spent $2 million. You can't have to sell your bread. Yeah.
Pack up.
What up, Dakota,
Pack
brother?
up. Sell the whole thing off, right? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. The Democratic National Committee chairman fiercely threw his phone at the desk of an aide in a fit of rage earlier this month as he deals with the mounting pressure over the DNC's financial woes, the New York Times reported.
Because of righteous POS bag and
angry outburst prompted
brother, no, I don't think you're thinking about this correctly. Why was the trans, and what about trans for Trump? Why are there trans for Trump? I think you're only listening to one side of the story. He didn't demonize trans people. There's gays for Trump and trans for Trump. I think you only listen to outlets that only let you know the propaganda that you like listening to. I don't think you understand that that he's not against trans people. He's against transitioned women that transition men transition to being women from being in natural women's sports. That's it. And you're listening to propaganda that makes you think that. Why do so many trans people support Trump? What do you think about Keisha Bottoms, former Atlanta mayor, run Democrats? But yeah, brother, that's where I'm from. I'm from Maryland originally, but I'm in Georgia now. I've been in Georgia 16 years. It's crazy. You'll get it, brother. I want to spend $2 billion on plastic straws and throw them in the ocean because it's Charles. I don't watch MSN. You'll be having MAGA are literally known for whitest cult in history, and they blame everyone for their problems. Trans, which demonizes, still gaslighting. Whatever you want. Why is there trans for Trump? Answer the question. Because system has to fight on social issues because they agree on corruption. Yep. What president has left the presidency with less money? Trump's the only one that did. Yeah. Okay. All right. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Just because you don't know any, you don't think they exist. Why don't you take a Google search and say trans people for Trump and see what results you get, brother? Logical trannies support Trump. Right. It's just not leftist trannies. And the thing is, there's a big difference between LGBTQIA community trans, gay, and people that aren't in that community but are still trans. Remember, you don't have to be an LGBTQ when you're trans. That's just a political some cities. I'm from Maryland. I'm from Glen Burnie, Maryland, originally, right by Baltimore. I moved from here from Baltimore. Democrats are always garbage, always have been. Black people for Trump. The majority of the violence comes from the left. And he doesn't care. He hates. He is so mad. So mad, and he'll figure it out. He'll figure it out because he'll realize that the media he consumes lied to him a whole lot and manipulated him into thinking the way he thinks. Why did Biden make Easter a trans visibility day if they were only 0.5%? Right. Hey, what's the debate prompt at the moment, real quick? We're looking at the Democrats losing all their money. Is logical trannies an oxymoron? MAGA is the most loving cult. I mean, it seems like it, brother. Men are playing women in the outplaying women in the NBA and WNBA, and that's a trans issue. Fake sports player. He's one of those. Yeah. Okay, so can Fox lie? Can the news lie, Jonah? If the news can lie, okay, if you think Fox isn't telling the truth, then you're saying the news can lie. How do you know the news you're listening to isn't lying? He's one of those. Yeah. CNN is in our yeah. These people don't think before they talk. This is why they're still Democrats. Remember, there's liberals for Trump now. There's liberals voting Republican now because they went too far left. They're all biased. Yeah, don't listen to them. I don't listen to that shit. The only thing I have to realize is Fox News. And I think the reason people say that, like Fox News, they think that because they don't watch Fox News, they think that I do. And they haven't heard this on their news stations when we just watched NBC. Kater had money last month, the presidency, $2 billion from his $1.3 billion. All mainstream media is liars. Only the left news, Fox is great. Okay, cool. Cool. Don't listen to it. Don't watch it.
A complaint from the junior staffer to human resources, which met with the DNC boss to discuss his conduct. Really shows you how powerful HR is, right?
Yeah,
they're meeting with the boss.
MAGA really don't know how the 27th.
We heard you through your phone at an aide.
Brother, I don't think, I think you're so mad that you haven't looked where the Democrats are. The Democrats are negative 27%. Negative. They have a negative outlook on the Democrat Party. The Democrat voters have a positive 2% for MAGA Republican leadership on correcting the issues caused by the previous Democrat leadership. I don't think you know what you're talking about, brother. It goes both ways, but boy, whatever you identify, it's like because you're one of those folks. Fox News has been using AI show hosts. Not even people. Yeah, I don't watch that stuff. I think all those newscasts lie for whatever side they want. But if you want to know the truth, I'll just tell you the truth. And you just don't know it. So I'll help you, brother. I personally get my news from the Onion, like a true patriot. Why do we care about people getting rich? We need to stop being jealous. And I think that's one thing, Sarah. I think a huge issue is jealousy. You've got a lot of overspent poor kids, which we are, and they think that if they don't want to work and don't want to do stuff, don't want to handle their money properly, then attacking the more wealthy. But listen, there's a lot of billionaire Democrats that the Democrats never say. When they say let's tax the billionaires, they never bring up the Democrat billionaires. Try to start looking into that and try to figure out why. Why does the DSA and the Democrats, when they say tax the rich and tax the billionaires, why do they never bring up the Democrat billionaires? Remember, there's 989 billionaires in the United States. More of them are Democrat than Republican. Can you please tell me between those networks which are Democrats or Republicans? So they're supposed to be neither. They're supposed to be the news. They're supposed to be open, but they're biased. So like Fox is right-wing biased, which right-wing is currently Trump and the Republicans. And CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS are left biased. Most of the news have their staff cut, not using real people. Anderson Cooper is AI. Wolf Blitzer looks AI. The main one is like this. Fox is Republican. Everything else is liberal. That's right. There's only one right-wing biased news agency, and I think that's why so many people think the left is doing things correctly now. Because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't there be equal numbers? And the word liberal has been bastardized. Yeah, there's liberal voting. There's Republican voting liberals now. There's people, ex-Democrats voting Republican to try to save the Democrat Party. Carter sold his peanut farm to have non-conflict interest. Thanks, BB. Others getting over this for decades about bag's value. You're welcome. Bernie Sanders was screaming about the millionaires until he became one. Right. That's right. 100%. So everyone's against Trump except for Fox. Yes, that's how you know that Trump's doing something right. Democrats think majority equals majority truth or MSM. Trump is a Democrat billionaire. He was a Democrat 9% of his life. Right. He was a Democrat. And this is what happened. This is why so many Democrats came over to the right. Because Trump took all the secrets of the Democrat Party. He knew what the game plan was. When he switched to the right in 2016 to run for president, he already knew the game plan of the left for the next 10 years. So he's now brought pretty much the best of the Democrat plan book and history over to the Republican Party. And now you can see the liberalizing of the Republican Party. So now that they accept a lot more left, old school liberal ideals. I don't want to work for a foreign country. You just want to say company not invest in Europe, people or community. Let's not call them liberals. Marxists, yeah, Marxists. I was a Democrat in the early 20s. Right, yeah, so was I. I was a Democrat until I started paying attention to taxes. Right. Once you realize that the Democrats never slow their spending, they always raise their taxes. They are taxes. Why don't you get your spending under control? My redneck ass was Paul Democrat. It's alive. Oh my God, he never voted blue again. TikTok was foreign country. USA was working for communist China through TikTok. Yeah. I agree. A price of gas is absolutely nuts. I mean, and it should be lower. If you look at the price of oil, Mouse, look at the price of oil. It should be around $2.30 a gallon for gas. So you know that we're getting ripped off because the cost of oil is down. Line has been crossed, will never go back to basic politics, turned into gangbanging rules. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, anyway. You feel I was a Democrat until Obama. Oh, but yep, a lot of people there.
All right, what's going on here? You got some anger management problems. The unsettling outburst came ahead of the high-stakes midterm elections as the remarkably cash-strapped DNC is relying on a $15 million loan, its largest ever off-year borrowing, that saw the committee put up its DNC headquarters and other assets as collateral.
Largest ever loan had to be taken out. So they've never had to take it out a loan for more than $15 million before. Hey, mama, rock me. I've never been a Democrat. Started vote 2016. It's the first time I could vote. Obama's long leg Mac Daddy. What up, the core, brother?
Quote, this is not new. The loan documents were publicly released in November, and the DNC building was also used as collateral in our prior lines of credit in 2019, 2018, 2024, and many other years, a DNC official told the Post in a statement.
Legend has the Space Cowboys.
The committee declined comment on Martin's
you can't even spell it right.
outburst.
Yep.
The DNC had $16.3 million cash on hand at the end of last month, well below the $18.5 million in debts and loans it has on the books, according to the Federal Election Commission records. By contrast, the Republican National Committee
50% of communist China still owns TikTok.
$128.5 million in cash on hand and no debt per the FEC.
And Trump's the number one followed person or the number most views on TikTok
trend is playing
any other TikToker.
Out among other officials, campaign arms of the two parties, which could be a key factor in the midterms, given the Supreme Court recently struck down rules limiting coordinated.
Tucker Carlson come against Trump just because the Iran war became the new face of Republican? No. Tucker Carlson was trying to start a new party. Yeah, he doesn't like what's going on with Iran against Israel. It's been a hot minute. That's why I have no patience with it. Never met them in real life. Get us. Yeah. Tucker Carlson was on Fox News, and then he started a YouTube wackadoo. Bam! Thank you, Sarah. Bam! Thank you, Sarah. Sarah. Yeah, thank you, girl. Our government is selling pure gasoline for $1.5 a liter. Jeez, that's not bad. That's bad. That's pretty bad. A liter, yeah, 3.7. Bro, I won't even hit on chicks with that colorful hair. Now I'm scared they're gonna be bad shit. Yeah, listen, and I think we need to help these people with their mental health issues. It's just gone too far. It's gone too far, letting people hurt themselves and destroy themselves. If we can find the problems, we can help a lot of people. Parties are corrupt. That's why it's impossible for their third heck. Why not fourth? Why not? The reason the gas is going up is because we're losing the war. Price of oil.
The stock price is unavailable.
Okay, let's see. All right. So at the start of the war, it was $65 a barrel. Okay. And right now it's 82. So at the height of the war, it was 114. 100, it was 114, but there's 112 right here. So it's only $15 a barrel higher than it was when the war started, when gas was like 3 something. But it dropped down here before the latest uptick. It was 68. That should have been 250. $65 a gallon is a barrel equates to $2.50, and they never dropped it that low. So it was being gouged. We're not. It's not. And listen, I don't think you also understand where our oil in America comes from, brother. I think you just hate. Establishment Dems have destroyed because it's super corrupt. Can't be taken out. Right, and it's not just that the Dems are corrupt, but they're corrupt with people outside of the country. Money can move between communist China and Donald Trump through TikTok. That's probably what it's for. They're like poison dart frogs, vibrant colors. You stay away. At the same time, for the shorts broke out, that's a 50,000 core liter after purifying. 82.30. I thought Lindsay was cremated, so why the casket? Good question. You look like my girlfriend's husband. Yeah, we're being gouged. That's the thing. We're being gouged. So gasoline should absolutely be cheaper at the oil rate we're at. Corruption is plentiful. Both parties soon we realize. Oh, I agree. No, I agree. I've already agreed that the thing is if we have to choose a party to go with, which one keeps us and most people safe? The safest party, the less people die, is the one where I don't think people understand how many tens of thousands of people died just trying to get to the border because the border was open. And then the people that have died because the border was open. And then the raising of taxes because the border was open. And then now you have a bunch of cities going bankrupt because the border was open. You have such franchise. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sarah. How do you feel if I'm blind? I can't tell a girl's colored hair, nose ring. No cap. I would just get an electric unit. So I'll get you one. Price of gas is going up due to monopolies being greedy. Agreed. Yeah, people don't usually look at the price of oil to see, oh, Trump. Okay, great. Why is oil lower and the gas price is higher? Because they know the people that run the fuel monopolies, whether you want to call it that or not, understand that when if this stuff's in the headlines, they can raise their prices and expect us to pay it because, oh, we're doing what we can through war. I look like your girlfriend's husband. Probably like it look better to keep up appearances and stuff like that. Of course, greedy corporations go, yep. I'd be scared to cross the state line because of this nonsense. So he's coughing for several to meal purpose, profiteering, like Trump families and profiteering for. Right, no, he definitely is. Yeah, it's over. Rich two-party system's the last leg. Yeah, I agree. I don't see why now. Like, because the second party that we have is not for the betterment of America. Donald Trump get money for countries through Truth Social.
spending between the parties and campaigns. Martin addressed the party's bleak financial situation in a recent Substack piece.
Yeah, this is all the same after that. That's all the same after that. Same thing that we watched last time. Our nation reserves are also at 40-year lows. Yeah. Profact, the price of Brent crude was $91. Dropped the yesterday. Yeah. So we are one of the world's top exporters of oil. I'm the only one on Truth Social. Yeah, I'm not on. I'm barely on X. Shout out to the blind homie. Shout out to the blind homie. Keep your level headed, brother. All right, everybody. It's rolling up to 11 o'clock now. I appreciate y'all being here with me. If you haven't, hit the like button, please, on your way out. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it. I love y'all. Thank you much for being here, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.